And hello! How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Sparkster Gaming. I'm here with my boy John. How's it going, bro?
Hello, I'm Jonsp2000.
Hey,
How you all doing?
Hey, and I am Gemboy. So welcome to a fun little podcast video we're just gonna do here. So this is called Sparkster Gaming. This is our brand spanking new retro gaming podcast.
100% original.
Yeah.
Retro gaming.
Yeah, this is just something special for the West channel for 500 subscribers. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, this is for like the loyal 3 people who watch this channel.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want to explain to the viewers here what we're going to be doing today?
Of course. So today we'll be showcasing our own game collections.
Ooh.
So basically it's going to be retro games with some modern games and other knickknacks in between that we have. And we're just going to show them off and talk about them.
Yeah, because I'm guessing some of you guys don't know that me and John, we're actually like pretty like avid gamers, and we're also pretty avid like game collectors too. So yeah, we figured what better way to show off like our tastes and introduce ourselves as gamers than to show off our collections. You'll get a pretty good idea of what kind of stuff we like, what kind of games we like to play, that kind of thing. So yeah, anything else you want to add, John, before we start?
Yeah, we're going to show you what it means to be a real gamer.
A real gamer.
After you're done watching or listening to this podcast, you will not be the same man, woman, or child that you are just about an hour ago.
Facts, bro, facts. All right, so I guess we're ready to get started. Let's do this thing, bro. Yeah, so we're pretty much straight improving, just off the cuff. No scripts, no scripts for us.
We only have notes.
Yeah.
But everything else is just gonna be stuff that comes out of the top of our heads. So we're probably just gonna we're probably gonna repeat ourselves a bunch.
Oh yeah.
And there's definitely gonna be some scuff here and there. But other than that, I think we should be fine.
Oh yeah. No scripts, only scuff. Let's do it. First slide.
All right, so the first slide is my slide, and this is my physical North American Sega Genesis collection.
Nice.
Out of all the game consoles that I collect for, the Genesis / Mega Drive is the biggest one that I currently have.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many games in total I have, but if I had to make a guess, it will probably be around either 100 or close to 100.
And this is just...
And that includes...
all games total, not just Genesis.
This is just the amount of Genesis games I have. That includes, like, stuff I have complete in box, Mega Drives, and, of course, the official repros that I have at the bottom.
Close to 100 just Genesis games. Close to 100. Oh.
Yeah.
Holy.
So some of my favorites on the Genesis includes stuff like Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Rocket Knight Adventures, Earthworm Jim, and I think out of those, I would have to say Sonic 3 and Knuckles and Rocket Knight Adventures are the top 2 for me.
Of course, the ultimate Sparkster gaming.
And if you look at the bottom row, those are the re-releases of various different games that come out in the past years, minus Rolling Thunder 3. All these are officially licensed in some way or another. And I have more Genesis games coming in the mail.
True.
One of which is FX Unit Yuki. I'm not sure if anyone knows that. And another game that I have coming soon is Eliminate Down.
Oh,
so
nice.
hopefully none of those games appear by the time we're doing this recording, because otherwise
Right.
I won't be able to show them off.
I know, right? Yeah, we figured like we should start recording this like sooner than later, because then we're just gonna keep like putting it off, right?
Like, yeah, we're gonna keep putting it off, and we're just gonna collect more stuff. So we might as well just do it now before anything happens.
Exactly.
All right. So the next slide that we have here.
Yes. These look like imports.
Yeah, these are my imports.
Nice.
It's not as big as my North American collection. It's mostly because Japanese Mega Drive games are very expensive, and unlike the US, the Mega Drive wasn't popular over there, so games tend to have like small print runs or just one run in general, and
that makes sense.
Those can become extremely rare and valuable. But the ones that I do have, some of them are pretty pricey, but others are extremely cheap and affordable, like the Japanese version of Sonic 1, Puyo Puyo, Marvel Land, and Castle of Illusion. But the three expensive ones that I have is definitely Japanese Rocket Knight Adventures, the Yu Yu Hakusho fighting game by Treasure, and the first Valis game.
True.
And like between the two Mega Drive games that are my personal favorites, it would definitely have to be Yu Yu Hakusho and Valis. I'm gonna try my best to collect them complete in box, but since these are very expensive and pricey, I imagine when I eventually collect more of these, it's probably just gonna be cartridge only, and no, that's fine.
Have you noticed like prices for import Mega Drive games? Like, are they like affordable, or are they more on the high end?
I would say
compared to other consoles.
Compared to other consoles, I'd say Mega Drive imports are somewhere in between.
Okay,
some games
so like mid-range cost.
Yeah, the mid-range cost. You'll have some that are very cheap that you could probably get for like under $20, and then you'll have some that are probably be around the $50 to $60 range, and then afterwards you'll have like 70 and up.
Yeah, because I know like shooters, like shoot 'em ups, are always like really expensive. Because like Japan loves shoot 'em ups.
The Mega Drive had a lot of shooters.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Those definitely tend to be on the more expensive side.
Right.
But if you do want to collect for the Mega Drive, I recommend looking into like getting a proxy service and buying them off Japanese sites. Because if you try to buy games off eBay, they're like double the prices.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I was able to get like most of the games that I'm gonna show off here.
Right.
All right. So next slide. Yep. These are the loose cartridge.
Loose carts. Gotcha.
Yeah. And plus 32X, since the 32X is essentially just a slightly beefed up Genesis. And one thing that I want to tell people who are collecting retro games in general is that it's a lot cheaper to get them loose than complete in box.
Yeah,
because like
I would imagine.
Yeah, because people value complete in box games more than anything. But if there's like a game that's just like the cartridge or CD by itself, like not a lot of people will go for them. So basically, that's why for some games I go for loose. And if they have like a damaged cartridge or label, then that's even better for me because the price is going to be even cheaper.
Right.
Like some of the more rarer games that I have loose is Troubleshooter, the Flintstones game, and High Seas Havoc. Either those are like they have damaged labels or they have like stickers on them.
Right.
they sort of like the prices devalue, so that's how I was able to get them. But expensive carts like Rise Star or
Yep.
or Beyond Oasis, yeah, those are gonna be pretty expensive, even in loose form. It's just slightly more affordable than if you were to get them complete in box.
Mm-hmm. And like Genesis cases are like really nice too, so I can imagine those are much more like collectible because those are really nice boxes.
Yeah, I love that early on they use plastic casings.
Yeah.
But then later on they started using cardboard because I guess it's just more affordable than using plastic.
Yeah, I mainly remember like the plastic cases because like my brother used to have a Genesis like when he used to live at home. It was a long time ago, so I only remember the plastic cases.
Yeah, I don't really collect the box cases because they are really rare to find them in like good condition. Most of the time they're just like heavily damaged.
Yeah.
I only have like a few box Genesis games, one of which is Sonic 3D Blast.
True. Yo, let's go.
And the 32X games, speaking of boxes, all those games came in those boxes. I think with the exception of like some sports games that actually did came in plastic cases.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, but the ones that I do have, yeah, those came in boxes. Out of all the 32X games that I have, the most rare and expensive one that I have is literally Knuckles Chaotix, which is the game that I bought the 32X for. Now that game is like close to $200, and thankfully I was able to get it for about $100 a couple of years ago.
Oh.
Now I just need a working 32X.
Right.
So I could actually play it and start collecting more.
Yeah, yo.
There's not a lot of 32X games in general, but I'm gonna collect for it anyway. Cause
I swear you have like a quarter of the library already.
Yeah, I think there's like 40 games in total for that add-on, so it's gonna be easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically all the Genesis games that I have.
Nice. That's a really good collection still.
All right, so I guess we're going on to the next slide.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, just let me know when you want to move on to the next slide so I can move it along in the recording. But yeah.
Okay. All right, so next slide. So these are more Genesis games. However, these are mainly just repros or bootlegs.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the repro section. The panorama cart that I have on the corner right there, that is a bootleg that a friend of mine gave to me.
Nice, yeah.
Yes. So I have another buddy that I trade games with, and one of the games that he gave me was a bootleg of Cotton. And so I kept it anyway, even though bootlegs tend to be kind of faulty. They have like really thick PCBs, and those can potentially damage your cartridge slot on the Genesis because it's putting a lot of strain in it.
Yeah, true.
So I don't really play with that. I actually have a official Panorama Cotton re-release that it was in one of the slides. But that bootleg that I have right there, I mostly just keep it for display.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, any form of Cotton you can get, that's always a win.
And plus, even if I did want to play it, I'll just use the Game Genie, so that way it doesn't damage the slot.
True.
But now those other games that I have, those are just repros of like other rare Genesis games like Crusader of Senti and Pulseman. So some of these repros that I got, I actually gave them new cartridges from like official Genesis shells. When I did some repairs for a few games that I did.
Yeah.
I got them new shells, I got them new label stickers, And yeah, if I were to like give one to you in hand, you probably wouldn't notice that it's a repro. You probably think it's an official card.
Yeah, they look like good from here. Like they look spot on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And this is like a little bit of a sneak peek for the future slides. But
Ooh.
I also collect Sega CD games,
Hey.
and unlike Genesis games, Sega CD games are expensive right out of the box to collect.
Yeah, just mad expensive, just in general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially the two that I have right here, Snatcher and Popful Mail. Snatcher in particular is ridiculously expensive. Like, it's almost like $1,000 for a completed box copy.
Oh my goodness.
But for like a disc version, like loose, it's probably like around $600. So
Holy, yeah.
now the good thing about Sega CD games is that they don't have any copyright protection. So all you can do is just play burnt copies and on
True.
the Sega CD, and there you go.
Nice.
And that's what those repros are. They're essentially just burnt CDs, and that's how I've been able to play these games.
True.
Now I actually do have some official Sega CD games that I'm going to show off later, but these two in particular are expensive. So if anyone is collecting for a Sega CD, don't be afraid to get like repro discs, because like you're gonna
because
wasting a lot of money if you do.
Yeah, like
get them in clean box.
It's usually not worth paying over like $200 for like one game. And like,
yeah,
at the end of the day, it's all about just playing the game, right? So you don't need the legit $12 million copy just to have it, right?
Yeah. You only spend that much if you really like the game. Yeah. And I have one game in particular that I really like and spend too much money on it that I am both not proud but very proud at the same time.
Yeah.
But before we go to the next slide, I have a repro of Cotton 100% that was actually was given as a gift by your boy IamJemboy.
Hey, yeah, I was gonna say I recognize that Cotton.
Yeah, he gave me this repro of Cotton 100 that he found at a convention. And
yeah, it was really cool because like that booth, they literally just make SNES repros. So there were like a bunch of them that I wanted to get, but that one I mainly wanted to snag for you.
Yeah, it's actually a really well built repro.
Yeah,
I don't have any pictures shown here, but inside there's like a poster and some little cards and stuff. It's really cool, and the build quality feels pretty official.
Have you played it?
I played with it for a little bit, and it's a English translation.
Oh, nice!
Translation.
So they even translated it. That's cool.
Yeah. There is actually an official re-release of Conan 100 for the Super Nintendo by Retrobit. Unfortunately, those are out of stock, so your best bet is probably to find a copy of it off eBay.
Yeah.
But other than that, I have a copy of Conan 100% for the Super Nintendo. And this is the only SNES repro that I got, and I didn't know where else to put it, so I just put it in with the repro slide.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, all right, let's go on to the next slide.
Oh, so this is my first slide here. So, continuing on with the Sega love, these are my only Genesis games that I have at the moment. So actually, all three of these were gifts from Jonsp2000. So thank you so much, bro.
You're welcome.
So these three games, like I mentioned before, when my brother used to have a Genesis. Well, actually, Ristar and Sonic 3D Blast were like super like big childhood games for me. Lots of nostalgia for Ristar and Sonic 3D Blast. Sonic 3D Blast especially. I played the other games also, but I really liked 3D Blast for some reason.
Hell yeah.
Rocket Knight Adventures. You just gotta have Rocket Knight Adventures if you're a Sparkster gamer.
Yeah, if you're not a real gamer, you have to get Rocket Knight Adventures.
Yeah, it's a must. And so the carts for all of these are legit. They're real carts. But the cases and the manuals for Sonic 3D Blast and Ristar are repros, I believe. And then Rocket Knight is the case and manual are full like OG.
Yeah, so Rocket Knight. Yeah, so Rocket Knight everything is 100% authentic.
Yeah.
The game and manual for Sonic 3D Blast is also legit as well for the cartridge for Ristar. It's just the cases are repros for both of those games, as well as the manual for Ristar. But other than that, everything else is legit.
Yeah, and like you can tell they're legit too because the games, like the carts, the labels are starting to like darken, right, from like age. And like the Rocket Knight Adventures manual is definitely legit because it's like torn up. I swear someone fed it to like their dog.
Yeah,
it's so funny, but I love it. And then you'll see the rest of my PS4 games later on, but I included the Divine Edition of Sakuna of Rice and Ruin. It's like a farming, side-scrolling action RPG. Yeah. Have you ever like gotten a game because of like a streamer or a VTuber played it, and like you really liked how it looked?
Yeah. One of which is a PS2 game that was recently played by a certain Moose Paul Bufano Sparkster Gaming Moose tuber.
Yeah.
I'll later. Well, she didn't play the PS2 version. She played the recently HD re-release that came out on various consoles.
Okay,
that I'll show off later.
Nice. Okay. So the reason I got Sakuna of Rice and Ruin is because Crony from Hololive, I saw her playing it and it looked really cool. So yeah, I just bought this for my birthday, just on a whim. And yeah, it is actually pretty cool. All right,
nice.
Let's move on to the next one.
All right, so it's back to me.
Yeah.
So these are the official Sega CD games / Mega CD games that I have. So, as I mentioned earlier, Sega CD games in general are very expensive. Even for games like Sonic CD, cost me completing a box about $80.
Oh.
If you try to look for like a loose disc of Sonic CD, it's probably going to be like about $40. Even then, that's pretty pricey.
Yeah.
Now, the game next to it, Earthworm Jim. This is an official, legit copy that I spent, I kid you not, $420 on it on eBay a couple of years ago.
$420.
Yeah, I bought it because it was the cheapest one there, and of course, the price was funny. That is for the meme.
Yeah. Damn,
now,
yeah.
I love Earthworm Jim. All this Sega CD version is just the first game with some new levels and quality of life stuff. But
yeah,
if you were to play one version of Earthworm Jim, just play the Genesis game. It's just it's just cheaper. The Sega CD version is not really worth it. You only get it if you really like the original.
Right.
And so, yeah, this one, not my proudest purchase, but at the same time, I'm very proud that I have a copy of it.
Yeah, I mean, it still looks cool. That's what matters.
Now, Now that's just the U.S. side of Sega CD games.
Yeah.
Now Japanese Mega CD games are surprisingly a lot more affordable to get than like Mega Drive games.
Oh, interesting.
For some reason, I guess the Mega CD was a bit more of a success than the Mega Drives.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's why Mega CD games are pretty affordable. Like, one of the games that I have right here is the Japanese version of Final Fight CD.
Nice.
That one is like, I got about like $15.
Oh, that's really cheap.
Whereas the US version is probably like around $50.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the other game that I have, which is, I believe it's called Yumeki Mix. I forgot what it was called, but it's essentially just a visual novel game about a girl who becomes a horse and stuff happens. I can't really describe that game, but it's a weird game, and I honestly bought it because I wasn't sure if I was gonna get a Japanese Mega CD. So if I was to get one, then I would need a game to test it out. So I just got it because you know it was cheap. But yeah, so Mega CD games are pretty cheap for the most part. Unfortunately, the Sega CD is region locked, so I can only play US games on it, and that's because the Sega CD has its own BIOS, and in order to play imports, that BIOS has to be the same region as like the console it's attached to. So say like I have a Sega CD and a Japanese Mega Drive, that won't work because those are two different regional consoles.
That makes sense.
So to counter it, the same friend that I got the bootleg for Panorama Conan, he told me to get this card called the Mega Card. It's a really old card from the early 2000s, but what it does is that it allows me to change the BIOS of the Sega CD if I put the cartridge into the cartridge slot. And so I could play US, Japanese, and even European games on my North American Sega CD.
That's really cool.
Yeah. There's definitely more cheaper ways to do it. Obviously, you could region mod your Genesis and Sega CD, or you could get a flash card and have the BIOS on the cartridge,
right?
And you can just boot them up from there. But yeah, it's because of the Mega Card is how I'm even able to play Mega CD games. So when I eventually start to collect some more Mega CD games, the Mega Card will definitely come in handy.
That's sick.
Yeah, so let's move on from the Genesis and to Sega's next console.
Ooh, the Saturn.
Yeah, so this is my Sega Saturn collection. It's very small, but this is a console I definitely want to collect more of. Mainly Japanese games. Because just like Sega's the Mega CD, Japanese Saturn games are pretty affordable. It's definitely have gone up in price a little bit, but for the most part, I was able to get these games for like about under $100. Sometimes like about $20 or $30.
Ooh, that's really good.
Sometimes like around $10-ish dollars.
I'm guessing it's because like the CDs are just much easier to produce, right? Instead of like a cartridge.
Yeah, CDs are a lot more easy to produce, and the Sega Saturn was actually a success in Japan. So there was more of a demand for Saturn games than Mega Drive games.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so I have some Saturn games from all the regions that it was available in, like US, PAL, and in Japan.
True.
The US games actually came in the long cases, like North American Sega CD games. and that's Sonic 3D Blast and Rayman.
Mm-hmm.
And PAL Saturn games came in black cardboard cases, and those are Marvel Superheroes and Earthworm Jim 2.
Oh.
Everything else came are the Japanese games, and they just came in like really small jewel cases, which I wish
the standard CD size cases.
Yeah, the standard CD side cases, and I wish all Saturn games and even Sega CD games came in those cases because
it's just easier to store.
Yeah, they're easier to store. It's just smaller and convenient, and they don't take up that much space. Now, some of my games,
and they're easier to replace too.
Yeah, whereas long box cases, like,
good luck finding more of those.
Yeah, you're gonna have to search for them.
Yeah,
but some of my favorite Saturn games include Sonic 3D Blast, Rayman, Sonic R, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, and Princess Crown.
True.
Princess Crown,
early vanilla.
Princess Crown. I actually played a little bit of it with a guide from like GameFAQs, and I wish that someone made a fan translation of Princess Crown.
Vanillaware has to like re-release that game on like modern consoles and like localize it too. That would be.
Oh, they re-released it for the PS4, but only in Japan.
Bro, give us a Vanillaware. Give us a localization on like Switch.
Yeah, if this was on Switch, it'll sell a lot.
Right? Bro, Vanillaware's popping off lately. Yeah, this is a sick collection, bro.
Yeah. Alright, let's move on to... We're out of the Sega side, and now we're on to...
Okay. Alright, we're now entering the Nintendo territory.
Yeah. And as you can see, my Nintendo collection is a lot smaller.
Yeah.
I'm more of a Sega fan, but I do have some NES games that I've been collecting.
Yep.
So the first two games that I got for my NES were the Super Mario Brothers / Duck Hunt kart and Mario 3. I don't have the NES Zapper to play Duck Hunt, so all it is just basically Super Mario Brothers and Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yep.
I really didn't play Duck Hunt until the Wii U re-release on Virtual Console.
Yeah.
And just playing Zapper games with a Wii remote it feels a lot better than I imagine than using the actual Zapper itself.
Yeah, Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, like that dual kart, that's actually the very first game I remember playing. That's literally the very first game that I've ever played, like, in my life.
Did you have the Zapper?
We had the Zapper, yep.
You are so lucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think that Zapper would work on my modern TV, but I just kind of want it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't really been collecting much NES games because my NES is kind of broken. The cartridge slot has trouble reading games. Like, I've cleaned it. I've bought a replacement part online and it still didn't work. But when it does work, it works fine. It's just that, like, sometimes it reads the cards and sometimes it doesn't.
It's iffy just to get it started. Yeah.
Yeah. Recently, I saw a group of modders building their own pin connector. I forgot what it was called, but this pin connector seemed pretty well built, and hopefully I am able to get that so I could put it into my NES and actually start collecting again.
Yeah, totally.
There's definitely some NES and even Famicom games that I want to get, but because my NES doesn't work, most of the time I've just been holding it off.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But funny enough, my favorite NES game that I own is unironically Felix the Cat.
Felix the Cat, nice.
and that is also the rarest NES game that I owned so far.
True.
Everything else was all the games were like under $10, whereas Felix was like about $80.
Oh, yo, it's worth for Felix the cat.
It's worth it. Yeah, this game is extremely easy. You can beat it under like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But I love it anyway. And plus it's a late NES release. It came out I think in 91 or 92, I'm not sure, but it looks really good. That's kind of the reason why that it's my favorite. But not shown here, but I did order one more NES game. It's actually a homebrew. It's called Amazon's Training Road. It's essentially just a endless runner game.
Cool.
For the NES by the creators of Ancient. They also made God of Protectors.
So this game is nice. That's sick.
Yeah, so this is just like a small spin-off game, and I bought it, so I'm not sure when that's going to arrive, but when it does, I'll definitely play with it, because that game has some pretty insane and well-animated sprites.
Nice. That's sick.
And that's all the NES games that I have. So let's move on to the next slide.
All right. What console do we have here? What is?
All right. So these are TurboGrafx / PC Engine games.
PC Engine.
Now, the PC Engine is a console that I've recently started collecting, mostly because the same VTuber that I watch played with the PC Engine Mini, and that inspired me to get a PC Engine for myself.
Yep.
But funny enough, the first game that I got was actually the TurboGrafx 16 version of Pac-Land.
Interesting.
So I got this way back because I thought in the future that I was gonna get a TurboGrafx 16, but that never happened. And guess what? The TurboGrafx 16 is now a very expensive console to collect for.
Right.
So instead, I went for the PC Engine, and honestly, it's a whole lot better. Not only that, because PC Engine was actually pretty popular back when it was coming out in Japan during the late 80s, early 90s.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it did way better than the Mega Drive, so games for the PC Engine are pretty affordable.
Ooh.
And that's how I was able to get these games that you're seeing here. In my opinion, I think the PC Engine is a very underrated console when it comes to retro games.
Right.
Like, it's the one console that not a lot of people talk about or know about in general, because most people would look at the PC Engine and would just say, like, oh, it's a slightly better NES, but it's definitely more than that. It's like a weird Frankenstein of a console where, like, games would look like 8-bit, but certain games would look like they're like SNES or Genesis quality, and it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, the variety of graphics on the PC Engine is like, it's so vast. There's like, some look like you're like super shovelware NES games, but then some will have like the sickest like sprite work, like anime art. It's like, huh?
Yeah. There, especially for anyone who likes shoot 'em ups, the PC Engine specifically has a lot of shooters.
Oh yeah, definitely.
This is one console that I really, really, really want to collect for.
I'd like to get into PC Engine at some point too, but I always thought it would be like expensive, but now that you say the games are cheap, maybe I'll jump into it sometime.
Yeah, they're cheap because I buy them off Japanese sites.
Right.
If you buy them off eBay,
proxies,
then yeah. I also want to get a analog duo, because that
Yeah.
plays both TurboGrafx and PC Engine games,
Mm-hmm.
as well as PC Engine CD games.
PC Engine CD. Ah. So
Yeah.
that game in the bottom corner, that's a hue card.
Yeah.
Is
So
that what they call hue cards? That's what the
yes.
That's what the games on PC Engine look like.
Yeah. So they're technically cartridges, but the PC Engine calls them hue cards because they look like little credit cards.
Yeah.
And you just put them in your console. They look really cool, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
and they're really small too. So you could put them in like a case, and it won't take that much space.
Yeah.
But the games themselves, they actually did come in jewel cases.
Yeah, because I'm seeing these, like your collection here. The games are in like CD cases, but the games look like cards.
Yeah, they have a special holder to put in the cards.
Ah, that's cool.
Yeah, so so they come in cards, they come in jewel cases. They're the ideal games to collect for. They have all the best qualities.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one last thing about the PC Engine,
Mm-hmm.
my favorite game is Pac-Land.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you look at my profile picture, then it's very self-explanatory that I am a Pac-Man fan. So
got that Pac-Man fever.
yeah. So of course, my favorite game is the best console port of Pac-Land.
Yo,
So,
straight up.
So let's move on to the next slide.
Yep. Ooh, SNES, nice.
Yeah, so we're finally back in Nintendo, Nintendo land. So the SNES was actually the second console that I started to collect for back in the early 2000s. Yeah, so my mom actually got our NES and SNES from a flea market, and way back then, let's say about the early 2010s, like they were about like $20 each, whereas now they're probably like about $80 or $50.
Yep.
And the first game that I actually got for my Super Nintendo was Super Mario World.
Nice. Yeah. Not a bad game to start with. That's a good game.
It's a very common game, but it's definitely probably the best game on the Super Nintendo.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, initially I wasn't going to collect SNES games because I feel like all the games that I want to experience on the Super Nintendo are available elsewhere, like Zelda, Metroid, Donkey Kong Country, all that. But then the more I looked into the Super Nintendo, the more I began to notice that there's a lot of weird, interesting games that not a lot of people talk about.
Yeah.
Like you won't see someone talk about, let's say, Pack in Time for the Super Nintendo, or Maui Millard, or even Kendo Rage.
Yep.
And some of my favorite sleeper hits are like Pocky and Rocky, Pack in Time, and Kendo Rage.
Nice.
Yeah, so unlike the Genesis, the Super Nintendo is region free. It's just the cartridge slot has some tabs that prevent Super Famicom games from being inserted. So what I did is that I bought a 3D printed tabless piece for my Super Nintendo, and I just install it onto the console, and now I'm able to play Super Famicom games. And if we go to the next slide,
yep. Let's move on here. Here we go.
These are my Super Famicom games.
Nice.
Yeah, so originally I bought the Super Famicom for Sparkster because the US version was super expensive.
Yeah.
Sparkster I got for like about $60, so it was worth it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but now I think I'm gonna collect Japanese versions of certain SNES games. Like one of the Japanese versions that I have is Super Castlevania 4.
Nice.
That one was about $5. Like, if you want to talk about like, yeah, if you want to talk about like cheap video games, Super Famicom games are hell of it affordable. You could get a bunch of games for about $50. That's how cheap these games are. Obviously, there's some rare and expensive games, but for the most part, even completed box games are super affordable.
That's
so
sick.
If anyone ever wants to collect for a console, the Super Nintendo is definitely the best out of the bunch. Hands top.
And like a lot of the games, like if you don't understand Japanese, you can play a lot of them still, because like Super Nintendo games are really easy to figure out just messing around, right?
Yeah. Obviously, if you play something like an RPG, you're gonna struggle. But for a good majority of games,
because they're mostly like platformers or like arcade games.
Yeah, you got platformers, you got shooters, you got puzzle games. All those are pretty easy to play.
Exactly.
So honestly, like hunting for Super Famicom games is a lot more funner because of that.
For sure.
Yeah, so one of my favorite Super Famicom games is Violin. No, it's not that. It's called Hamelin no Violin Hickey. It's the
nice.
horizontal. It's the horizontal complete in box game.
Yeah.
Now that one is a really good puzzle platformer that you don't really need to know the language in order to enjoy.
Nice.
So that one is a very English-friendly game, and it's honestly like one of my favorites for the Super Famicom. If anybody is looking for a good game to play, that one, Hamelin, is my top pick.
Nice.
Now, probably my favorite Super Famicom find in general is this white card. If you see the big picture.
Yeah, what is this thing? Please.
Okay, so
please explain to the viewers what the heck even is this thing.
Okay, so this thing is a real Nintendo product. It's called the Nintendo Power. It has nothing to do with the US magazine.
Yeah.
This is a different Nintendo Power. So basically, what it is, it was a service where you buy a cartridge, and with that cartridge, you can download games onto it. You could download at least up to 8 games, but obviously, it all depends on the size of the game. So, the smaller the game is, the more games you can put in. But the bigger they are, the less games you can put in the card.
Yeah.
So this card that I have is honestly probably the biggest find ever, because not only does it have 3 games in it, it's 2 rare, expensive games on it. It has Pocky and Rocky and Pocky and Rocky 2.
Yeah, those are mad expensive.
Those games are mad expensive no matter what region.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's the US versions or the Japanese versions. Both of those games are extremely expensive. Yeah. Now I already have the US version of Pocky Rocky, but the sequel is almost like, I think it is about $500.
Oh, shoot.
The Japanese version is like about $300, so it's not even better.
Yeah.
But some random dude in Japan in the 90s, he bought this card and he downloaded Pocky Rocky 1 and 2 to that card, and honestly, I'm glad he did, because this cost me like $60.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
What a deal.
So it's an absolute steal. Yeah. 2 rare games for $60 on an official Nintendo cartridge.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. It's
literally an official Nintendo flash cart.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. Also, there's a 3rd game on it called The Fireman.
Fireman,
you basically you basically play as a fireman and you go around like putting out fires in a building.
I think I've heard of this game. It's like top-down view, right?
Yeah, it's a top-down view game.
I've heard of this game. Looks pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, it's pretty good, but honestly, the real stars of the show are the two Pocky and Rocky games, and definitely. I'm very glad that I have them in an official capacity, and I didn't have to break bank on it, because I was honestly contemplating on saving up to get Pocky and Rocky 2, but now that I have this, I saved $500.
Yeah, you're good, bro.
Yeah, so obviously Nintendo Power Cards, they all vary.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably never going to find a cart like the one that I have, but there's definitely carts out there that have different games in them. Like I've seen some games that had like Super Mario World, some that have RPGs. It honestly varies from cart to cart. So the chances of you finding a cart with the game you want is very slim. But if you do somehow manage to find a cart with the games that you want, then hopefully you have money saved so you can get it.
Yeah, just grab it, honestly,
just grab it. You just grab it because you're probably never going to see that listing ever again. And one last thing, Nintendo did make Nintendo Power Cards for Game Boy. It's pretty much the same thing, but just for Game Boy games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Game Boy Color games were available. I think it was just... Actually, no, Game Boy Color games were available, because I remember the only way for Japanese players to play Super Mario Bros. Deluxe was to download it.
Oh, interesting.
To download it on a Nintendo Power Card. So yeah. I haven't really looked into the Game Boy side of Nintendo Power, but if this is the only card that I get for like the Super Famicom, then I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that's still a great find. Holy.
Yeah, this is the best find that I have in my entire collection.
Dude, for sure.
So let's go on to the next slide.
Okay, so this is one of my slides now. So now we're going to be moving on to the PlayStation side.
Yeah.
So my game collection is pretty much, I keep them in like these bins. So I have like 3 of these. So the first bin here is PS1 and PS2 games, plus some others. We'll get to that. But yeah, I pretty much started game collecting with PS2. I started collecting it was around like high school. So this would have been like 2004, 2005, 2006, somewhere around there. I was like grade 10 when I really started collecting. Ooh. And I started with the PS2. Because at the time, PS2 games were like super cheap. It's like a lot of these games are like $5 to $10. Like an expensive PS2 game back then would have been like $40, right? So I started with PS2. One of the first games that I got were Amplitude. It's like a rhythm game from the developers of Guitar Hero and Rock Band. Final Fantasy X. That was one of the earlier ones I got. Kingdom Hearts. I love Kingdom Hearts. Mad nostalgia for that series. And the Prince of Persia trilogy. So those are like the first games that I got for the PS2, and man, I love the PS2. It's actually my favorite console like ever. And then when you have a PS2, like you might as well also get PS1 games too, right? Because you can play them. You can play them also. So yeah, I don't have as many PS1 games. Like this is pretty much all of my PS1 games. I would love to get more, but the ones that I want to get are really expensive, so it's fine. I have most of the ones that I want already. Mainly the Crash series. Of course, you have to have all the Final Fantasies. You'll notice with my other slides, you'll notice I really like JRPGs. So you gotta have the Final Fantasy games on PS1. I also have a few imports, which I believe is my next slide. so we can move on. Yeah. So these are my import PS1 games. So we have Bust a Move in the US, or in North America it's called Bust a Groove, because Bust a Move in North America is Puzzle Bobble.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
So, because in Japan it's called Puzzle Bobble, right? But
yeah.
then when they brought it here, they renamed it Bust a Move for some reason. I still don't understand why. And then Square Enix develops this game, Bust a Move. They can't just call it Bust a Move when they bring it over here, so they called it Bust a Groove. It's confusing.
It's very confusing.
Yeah. And I also have Chocobo Racing. So these two games, Bust a Move and Chocobo Racing, I actually used to have, again, when my brothers used to live at home, we had a hacked PS1. And so we just played a bunch of like burned PS1 games on that. And the games I played a lot on those were Bust a Groove and Chocobo Racing. And so I basically just got these two just for the childhood nostalgia, just so I could play them again. But these two games are like really expensive now, right? So I just opted for the Japanese versions because you don't really need to understand the dialogue in the game to play them, to understand how to play them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're much cheaper, like much cheaper. They're like $20 versus like $100. So yeah. And then moving on, I also have Ape Escape. This is the Japanese version. I went for the Japanese version because I like the voices more in the Japanese version. They're very kawaii, very anime.
This is very fair.
Yeah. I actually wouldn't mind getting the other regions as well, because the voice acting is different in each region. So the PAL version, they sound very like British. It's funny.
Yeah.
And then I have also Parappa the Rapper and Jammer Lammy. I went for the Japanese versions because I absolutely love the art on the covers and the disc. They're just so much cooler than what we got here.
Yeah, the cover art for both of those games look really, really good.
Yeah, they're sick. And like, so I don't have a Japanese PS2 or PS1, but my PS3 is actually Japanese region, so that can play JP PS3 games. But PS3 games, it's actually region free, so you can play any region PS3 games. But PS1 games, that's what I use to play these imports. So yeah, very small import collection. The only other ones I really want to get are the Atelier games for PS1. We'll get to that later though. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so now these are my PS2 import games. So on the bottom row, we have the Arc System Works Fist of the North Star fighting game. That's a really badass game. It's really hard though, but I love Fist of the North Star, and anything Arc System Work touches is just gold. So then I have Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Japanese version. I just love the cover on this one a lot more than the US version. It's pretty much the same, but the US version they zoom in a bit, so you don't see as many of the characters.
Yeah. Okay.
But I just like the art more. It's only slightly different, but it just looks cooler. And then PS2, last import PS2 game, Parappa the Rapper 2. Again, the art looks so much better in the Japanese version. I love the art in this one. And it comes with like a big fold-out poster, and it looks like a food menu in like the first level of the game, because it's in like a fast food restaurant, right? So yeah, the manual looks like a giant like food menu. It's so cool.
Okay, that actually does look
kind
of cool. I want to get it now.
Yeah, it's sick, bro. And then the top row are just some other random games that I just keep in this box because I don't really have anywhere else to keep them, and they fit. So I have Bayonetta 1 and 2. Bayonetta 1 for the 360. You'll see the rest of my 360 games later on. And then Bayonetta 2. So I actually don't have a Wii U. I bought this at launch, and I stayed over at my friend's place who had a Wii U. and I just played it there. So yeah. And that's like the only time I've been able to play this game. So I'm hoping to get a Wii U sometime soon, like my own Wii U, or maybe just get the Switch version. So either way, we'll see what happens. And then this is my original GameCube copy of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. And it's freaking crazy. I don't know if you can see the price tag on it, but like this was $15 when I got it.
Wow.
Yeah, because like I bought this when like it was kind of new, but like people were starting to trade it in already, right? So it was really cheap. And
that is very funny.
Yeah.
Considering like this would have eventually become one of the more expensive GameCube games.
I know, right? And also another fun story too. So when I bought this copy, it didn't actually have the manual originally with it, right? And so months later down the road, I saw another copy of this at the store, at the game store, and there was a copy there that had the manual. And so I actually just shoplifted that manual just for my copy. Yeah.
I doubt those people would have cared.
Yeah, no. Yeah, probably not. But yeah.
Honestly, shoplifting the Paper Mario manual is extremely based.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. All right, now we can move on. What do we have here? Mr. SP.
All right, this is my PlayStation games.
Nice.
And as you can notice, I am not that much of a PlayStation fan in general. I'm more so of a Nintendo and Sega fan.
Yeah.
But I do collect for these consoles.
Yep.
So we're going to start with the PS1 games first. And the first two PS games that I got were not any of the Pac-Man games, but they were actually Crash Bandicoot and Mega Man Legend.
Oh.
So originally, I bought these because I didn't have a PlayStation 3 to play those games on, so I opted to get the PS1 version. And yeah, and so I had a relative that had a PS1, and they let me have it. But unfortunately, their PS1 is kind of broken because the games would freeze sometimes.
Yeah.
Like about a couple of seconds into the game, it would freeze, so I didn't really get to play PS1 games all that often. Mm-hmm. And for the longest time, I just kind of avoided PlayStation in general, so I'm not that familiar with the PlayStation side compared to Gem, but I'm slowly starting to build my own collection. Like, ever since becoming a game collector, I've been like looking at various other consoles, and PlayStation is the one that I am starting to tip my toes into.
That does happen when you like collect games. Start looking at other consoles. Yeah.
Yeah, so it wasn't until I bought a PS2 where I was able to play finally my PS1 games. And in all honesty, my favorite PS1 game, you're not gonna believe it, it's Pac-Man World.
Pac-Man World, let's go.
Yeah, I like Pac-Man World more than Crash Bandicoot, more than Metal Gear Solid, more than Mega Man Legends. So
now that makes sense.
It is what it is. But I have played all these games that I have so far. I would say Skull Monkeys is a close second. It's a 2D platformer, and everything is made out of clay, so it's really, really good. And that was my most recent PS1 purchase.
Oh, nice.
So this is definitely something that, bit by bit, I'm gonna collect.
Yeah.
Now
totally.
that I have a way to play PlayStation 1 games.
Yeah.
So now that we're done with the PS1 side, let's go to the next slide.
PS2, let's go.
Yes. And just like my PS1 games, my PS2 games are very small.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so the first game that I got for my PS2 was actually KOF 11.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, KOF 11 is like the one game that is not that hasn't got a re-release at all.
That's true. Yeah, now that you mention it, yeah.
Yeah, like it's not on any modern consoles and it's not on PC. It is stuck on the PS2, and which it's a shame really, because honestly, I think KOF 11 is one of the better KOF games from the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
It essentially has a you could switch teammates instead of like you play your teammates through process of elimination.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's really fun and fast, and there's like a lot of unlockable characters that are exclusive to the PS2 version. So it's honestly really fun to just grind and try to get all the characters. And speaking of the PS2, I was surprised about how versatile it is, because like on one hand you could play PS2 games, then you could play PS1, and then it's a DVD player,
Yeah.
and for some games you could connect to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, wow. Like, it's no wonder the PlayStation 2 was extremely popular back in the day.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still like it still has the record for like being the number one like highest selling console. Like I'm pretty sure like Switch is still catching up, but it's like close.
Yeah. Yeah, PS2 games in general are super common, and they're very cheap. Like I know most people when collecting retro games, they don't tend to collect like PlayStation 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you're like remotely curious about the PS2, I say it's worth collecting, especially right now since the prices are fairly manageable.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like you could definitely get a lot of like great games for very cheap.
Yeah, the variety of games on PS2 is just insane.
Yeah,
There's so many different like genres and so many weird like small experimental games. It's crazy.
Yeah, the PS2 is essentially the Genesis to me.
Yeah,
both of those consoles have like very weird experimental games. So like, yeah. Honestly, my favorite game on the PS2 so far is Metal Gear Solid 3. Now, this was the game that I bought because of a VTuber that played it.
Oh yeah,
and that VTuber is Maple Alcesia.
Yeah.
She didn't play the PS2 version. She played the recent Metal Gear Solid. I think it was called Master Collection.
Yeah.
That was released on Switch, Xbox, and PS5. Yeah, she played that version, but honestly, even in that collection, I was kind of shocked of how like good this game looked graphically. Like, it looks like a PS3 game at certain points. But I did actually play a little bit of Metal Gear Solid 3, and honestly, this is the game that I kind of want to continue playing, but I had to stop because I have so many other games to play in the backlog. But yeah, MGS3 is so far my favorite PS2 game. The Devil May Cry games I've heard a lot of good things about. I haven't played them yet, but I think when I eventually get around to them, I think I'm gonna really enjoy them.
Yeah. Devil May Cry 3 is like literally one of the best games I've ever played.
Damn.
Devil May Cry 1 is very jank. Like some of the like the level design and like the boss fights are very annoying, especially now, like nowadays. But like Devil May Cry 3 still holds up today. It's crazy.
Yeah. And one other thing I want to do is that I want to get imports, like play some Japanese games.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to get a modded PS2 that's region free. But yeah, that's gonna be for later. But yeah, PS2 is definitely something I'm gonna keep my eye on.
Yeah, sick.
And so, let's go on to the next slide.
Alright, so this is my next bin of games. So as you can see, it's PS3, PS4, and my 360 games. So, for PS3, when did I start collecting PS3? Maybe a few years after PS2. So, whenever I collect, I'm always usually a generation behind. So, when I got my PS3, I'm pretty sure the PS4 was like well into its lifespan already. So, PS3 games when I started collecting were like $10, $15 each. So yeah, because like I'm always a generation behind, right? So that's when like games are like cheap because people are trading in their older systems to get the new one, right?
Yeah.
And so that includes cheaper games too. And the first game that I got for PS3, the reason why I wanted to get a PS3 was for 3D Dot Game Heroes, which is that first one there. That's a really cool game. It's like it's like a tribute to like old school Zelda and like old school RPGs. So it's like pixel art style, but it's 3D. It kind of looks like Minecraft, but it's supposed to be like pixel cubes. It's very weird. And like, you know how in the original Zelda, where if you have full health, you like shoot beams from your sword?
Yeah.
Instead, in this game, when you have full health, your sword is just like gigantic and it fills the screen.
That's
funny.
Awesome.
Yeah. And like it has a really cool like character creator also, so you can just make your own like hero, like your own like sprites. And so I spent like hours just making my own characters. So yeah, nice. Super fun game. And of course I got Bayonetta. I love the Bayonetta games. Dragon's Crown was a surprise hit for me, so it's another Vanillaware game. That's the first Vanillaware game I've actually played by them. That's a really great game. Enslaved was a pretty surprise hit for me too. What else? Of course, God of War. I love the God of War games. King of Fighters 13. I really love. That's probably like my favorite fighting game. And of course, you gotta have Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
Hell yeah!
So I used to have all of the Metal Gear Solid games, right? But then I didn't really see myself playing them again, and so they've been long gone now. But I kept Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance because I just love those kind of like crazy like hack and slash action games. They're just my favorite.
Yeah, yeah, that game's by Platinum, isn't it?
Yeah, it's another Platinum game. So the creators of Bayonetta. So it's the same like frantic action and wild cinematics.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And for 360, I've actually only recently started collecting for. I think I've had my 360 now for maybe a year. Maybe under. Maybe under a year, something like 9-ish, 8 months, something like that. So I don't have too many 360 games because I'm trying to stick to mostly 360 exclusives. Yeah, or just like games that I feel like fit better with the 360. For example, Portal 2, I just feel like is a more 360 game than a PS3 game. I don't know, it's completely subjective and arbitrary, but yeah.
Yeah, some games just work and perform better on the 360 than the PS3.
Yeah, so I've actually heard that if a game is on the 360 and the PS3, usually the 360 version will look better.
Yeah.
So yeah. And yeah, so PS4 games, I got my PS4 I think 2022. Yeah, it was the PS4 was a birthday present, and so when I got that, my PS4, that's like all I played that year. Like literally no other console, just PS4.
Wow.
And the PS4 is sick too because the amount of games on that system and like the variety of genres, the library is very much similar to like the PS2's library. It's just a wide variety of games. It's crazy. So you got like your big budget AAA games and like your indie games and everything in between. It's so sick. And so I would actually like to collect more PS4 games, but the thing is I'm running out of space on my hard drive, and I like to have all of my games installed on the hard drive as much as I can because my internet isn't that great. And so I hate having to re-download like patches and stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I have space for maybe like 5 more PS4 games. So the PS4 has like the highest like trade-in rate of any console that I have because space is very limited. So if I don't see myself replaying a game for like a long time, then I sell it. So yeah. PS4 is such a great console to collect for, though.
The PS4 is essentially the PS2 2.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Right now, I'm currently playing Code Vein. It's pretty much anime Dark Souls. Yeah, I don't know if I'll end up keeping it. I'll see how I feel about it when I finish it. What else? Any other standouts? Sakura Wars was a surprise hit for me. That one was really fun. I wasn't expecting to enjoy that one as much as I did, but I really liked it. The Ys games, I love the Ys series. A lot of the earlier games are very expensive though, like the ones on PSP and PS2. But I have the entire Ys series on. You can get them really cheap on like Steam. So yeah. Yeah. Ghost Trick Phantom Detective was really good too. That one was originally a DS game, but it got recently ported to consoles and it looks amazing. That game just blew my mind. But yeah, we can move on to the next slide. So these are import PS3 and PS4 games. So like I mentioned earlier, the PS3 is, for PS3 games, they're region free. So you can play any region PS3 games on any region PS3 console. Same goes for the PS4. You can play any region games on the PS4. So I don't have many. Bayonetta, Final Fantasy 13, and Okami HD for PS3. And then this Marvel vs. Capcom 3, that's not an import. I just have it here. Just to show off. So I'm not a big fan of steelbooks. I hate steelbooks. But I really like this one because I love the art on this Marvel vs. Capcom 3 steelbook. And it's sick too because like every panel of this steelbook, so the front cover, the back cover, and then and the 2 inside panels, it's actually different art. So it's different. It's done by different like comic book illustrators, and it looks so sick. Yeah. So this is literally like the one steelbook I have. I hate steelbooks. And then for import PS4 games, I have Death Smiles 1 and 2. That's like a really fun shoot 'em up. It's a horizontal shoot 'em up. Usually they're like top down vertical, right? This one is side-scrolling horizontal shooter. And then I have Game Tengoku or Game Paradise Cruisin' Mix. This was originally a Sega Saturn game, I believe. And then, yeah, it just got recently ported to modern consoles. It's really fun. If you want like a shooter with like a really different theme and visuals, I definitely recommend this one. Because like usually shooters are like in space, right? And it's just like ships. This one, you're flying through an arcade and you're shooting at like video games. You're like going into like different video games. And so like every stage is like themed around a different genre of game. It's super weird. And then this next one here is called I Am Setsuna. It's a smaller JRPG from Square Enix. Pretty good game. I really like this one. So I thought this one had English on the disc, but I was mistaken. It's actually the Switch version where the Japanese release has English on it. So yeah, So now I just have this Japanese copy that I can barely understand when I play it. So I ended up just buying the digital version on PSN, and now I just have a physical copy for display. So it's fine.
Damn.
Oops. You didn't see anything. And my last import game here is Klonoa, Fantasy Reverie series. So this one is really cool because the Japanese version, when you put it in your PS4, it'll actually play in English. Ooh. So yeah, you can just import the Japanese version and it's completely playable in English. That's really cool. So yeah, I never got to play the Klonoa games when they originally released, and so I really wanted this one when it came out, and they're really fun. They're really different. I really like them. Okay. Yeah, then that's it for my PS4 games for now. So let's move on to your slide.
All right. Okay, so this is probably my saddest collection. My PS4 games. Look how bare bones this is. Yeah, so out of all the consoles that I've owned, the PS4 is the least console that I played with. I played more of my broken NES than the PS4, True. If you could believe. And a good majority of the PS4 games that I do own, they're all digital. Because PS4 games tend to go on sale for very cheap.
Yeah.
But even then, the digital PS4 games that I have, they're basically just games that I've already owned, like on Switch, but on the PS4, in case if I wanted to play it on there. So it's not much.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just I kind of want to play more PS4 games, like just like the PS2 and the PS1. The PS4 definitely like something that I want to look into. But I think I'm gonna do that at a later time after I'm done collecting PS1 and PS2 games.
Yeah, that's a good call.
And out of all the PS4 games that I have, I would say Crash 4, It's About Time is probably my favorite one.
Yeah, Crash 4 was like really good. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, it's a really good platformer, and I'm glad that this is the one PS4 game that I've really enjoyed. So someday I will definitely buy more PS4 games, but for now, I think I'm just gonna focus on the PS1 and the PS2.
Yeah, good stuff, bro.
So let's go on to the next slide, and
ooh, GameCube.
Yeah, we're back at Nintendo, and this time it's the GameCube. So I have both loose and complete in box copies.
Yeah.
So the GameCube was the first console that I've collected for way back when I was really young. And it's definitely the console that got me into video games.
Nice.
Some of the earliest GameCube games that I remember playing were Super Mario Sunshine, Super Smash Bros. Melee, and Kirby Air Ride. And unfortunately, I don't have Kirby Air Ride anymore.
Oh.
I lost it. So
no.
Yeah, that makes me really sad. I lost Kirby Air Ride. And now I can't get it because it's $80. Well, I could get it, but like I don't want to pay $80.
Yeah, not for $80.
I'm probably gonna do it anyway, because why not? Yeah, but yeah. So the GameCube was actually the first console that I played the Sonic games on Genesis via Sonic Mega Collection.
Yeah,
that's definitely probably the most valued GameCube game that you could get, because you just get like a bunch of games in one.
Yeah, that's a really good collection. I like that one.
Yeah. I think that's like an essential GameCube game to add to your collection. And plus you get Rice Star, which is the best game in this entire collection. And Rice Star is definitely one of the more expensive Genesis games, so
true.
So just getting it for like under $10 is an absolute steal. But out of all the GameCube games that I have, Pac-Man World 2 is my favorite.
Yeah.
This is a recurring theme with game consoles, where if that console has Pac-Man on it, it's probably my favorite. But in all seriousness, Pac-Man World 2 is definitely one of the better platformers on the GameCube. And thankfully, it's really cheap too, so if you're starting out with collecting GameCube games, you can't go wrong with Pac-Man World 2.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So let's go on to the next slide.
Okay. There we go.
And this time we have the GameCube 2 and 3, also known as the Wii and Wii U, both complete in box and loose disc. So, funny story, I got the Wii not at launch, but I think like a year or two later, mostly because my GameCube broke. My first one. Yeah, my first GameCube broke. And so I still wanted to play GameCube games. So my family bought a Wii, and yeah, during that time the Wii was still backwards compatible with GameCube games.
Yeah.
I believe it wasn't until the Wii Mini where they took that out.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so literally I bought it just to play GameCube games again. but I did play Wii games, and a good majority of the Wii games that I played, I rented them from Blockbuster.
Nice.
So it was very rare for me to own a Wii game. Yeah. I didn't start owning them until way later. Which one of the first Wii games that I bought were Sonic Colors and Tatsunoko vs. Capcom.
Oh, this is some solid starting games for Wii.
Yeah. But yeah, so in recent years, I've been recollecting some old Wii games that I used to rent, like New Super Mario Brothers, Punch Out. So definitely, I'm rebuilding my old Wii library from scratch, and underneath the Wii games, we got the Wii U. Now, the Wii U was the first console that I bought with my own money.
Oh.
Yeah, most people bought the PS3 and their PS4s with their own money, but for me, I thought the Wii U was cooler than those. And it was the Wind Waker bundle, so I got Wind Waker HD digitally, and it came with a gamepad with a Zelda theme on it, so
that's sick.
I still have it, and I still play with my Wii U to this day.
Yeah, that's good. Those are like really expensive now too. The especially the Zelda themed ones.
Yeah, the Wii U console is starting to get expensive because I think people are taking a more closer look on it, and it's definitely it's not the best console ever, but it definitely has some games that are worth checking out. Because obviously a lot of the Wii U games were eventually gone onto the Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And funny enough, one of the first games that I played on the Wii U, besides Wind Waker HD, was DuckTales Remastered.
Nice.
And I bought Bayonetta 2, not at launch, but like I think a year later, and I haven't touched it. Even to this day, I have not played Bayonetta 1 or 2 for the Wii U.
Bruh.
I probably should, but I'll definitely get around to it. And thankfully I did, because it was like $50, so it wasn't too bad. I imagine it's probably expensive or cheaper. I'm not sure how much does the Wii U version of Bayo 2 cost.
Surprisingly, it's actually cheaper. It's like it costs half as much now.
Oh, yeah. I should have waited then.
Yeah.
Oh well. But yeah, so if you look at one of the Wii U games, specifically Breath of the Wild, I actually got it signed by someone who worked on not Breath of the Wild, but Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh.
Now, he didn't work on Breath of the Wild, but I told him to sign it anyway because we thought it would be funny if he did. And I don't know if you can see it in the picture, but it says, "I didn't work on this one." And I censor out his name because obviously I want to keep his privacy.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hidden. So yeah, but I do have a legit signed copy of Tears of the Kingdom that I'll show him. That I'll show you guys in the Switch slide.
Nice, that's sick.
So, but that'll be for later because the next slide.
Yep. Let's see here. Ooh, 360. Let's go.
Yeah, it's the 360 collection. Now, this is the only Xbox console that I've been collecting for. Mainly because this is the only Xbox console that I have.
Yeah, same.
And obviously, you could tell just by this picture alone that I'm more of a Xbox player than a PlayStation fan.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I actually did grew up with the 360 because I had a sister that gave me her not PS4. I mean Xbox 360, and so that's how I was able to play some games on it. For the longest time, it was mainly just Sonic and Call of Duty, but in recent years, I've been collecting for other games besides those, and I'm honestly surprised of how diverse the Xbox 360 is.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it also helps that these games are pretty cheap, but I think with the closure of the 360 marketplace, I have a feeling that 360 games are definitely going to become more expensive in a few years. So I'm just collecting all the games that I want as soon as possible.
Yeah,
there are some games that I can't get digitally because they've been delisted, but hopefully I'm able to get them before the big price hike. And honestly, it's kind of difficult to decide which 360 game to play because I have so many. Like, it's kind of hard to choose. But I think I'll probably play Sonic Unleashed or one of the Transformers games soon. And I've just been kind of in the mood for playing any of those games.
Nice.
But yeah, this is my 360 collection.
That's a good collection still. Like, that's still a decent sized collection.
Yeah.
You already have like a good head start on grabbing 360 games before prices go up.
Yeah. So, next slide.
Yeah. There we go. Oh, more.
Yeah, next. Yeah, more 360, but these are loose discs.
Yeah, loose discs.
So it's basically just Call of Duty. I mostly played the zombie mode. I didn't really care much for multiplayer. I did play the campaigns, which they were fine. I liked them, but I was more of a fan of the zombie mode.
Yeah.
And the only other disc 360 game that I have is KOF 12, which is basically just KOF 13 light.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much to KOF 12, but I bought it anyway because why not? It's another 2D fighting game for 360, so not much going on in this slide. Just the few 360 games that I don't have in completed box, but honestly, I don't really mind at all.
I mean, as much as that game feels like the beta of 13, technically 12 was the first game where SNK did that high res pixel art, sprite art style that 12 and 13 have. So
yeah,
technically 13 copies 12, but yeah.
Nobody talks about 12.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, you're not missing much by not playing this game. So, yeah, that's all for my 360 games.
Nice.
So,
All right, so for my next slide, this is pretty much my last bin of games. So this bin is basically all of my handheld / portable consoles. So I actually have the consoles in the bin. So there's my Switch Lite, my 3DS XL, and my Vita. And I also have a Taito Super Pocket. And then my games, so Vita games. My Switch games are underneath that one PSP game at the top. And then my 3DS games and my DS games and my GBA games. So I don't actually have a GBA yet. I just kind of have the games. So I'll get into the games that I actually have, like more in depth in the following slides. Because I don't have a lot for each of these consoles, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can move on.
All right, so now we're going to the Switch collection.
Let's go.
So these are all the physical Switch games that I have.
Yeah.
And honestly, I originally bought my Switch just to play Super Mario Odyssey, which is not here because I gave it to my little brother when he eventually got his Switch.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Honestly, the Switch is a pretty good contender for like my favorite console of all time because it is extremely versatile. It's not as versatile as like the PS4 or the PS2, but the amount of different games on the Switch is insane. A lot of different like first party, third party indie games, a bunch of retro games on it. It's
and like the fact that you can play Switch games on the TV or handheld also makes it even better because like you get a lot of like third party console games from like other consoles on Switch, like The Witcher 3 portably. That's sick. But
and there, if you look closely at Tears of the Kingdom, this is the one that was signed by
there it is,
by my friend who worked on it.
Nice.
Yeah, so I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom yet, but this is one game I definitely want to play as soon as I finish Breath of the Wild. They told me to keep an eye out on the Yiga clan.
Oh.
That's the symbol that they drew on the case. Yeah, so they worked a lot on that group, so I'm definitely gonna keep an eye on them when I eventually play it. And honestly, I'm glad that they agreed to sign it because it's really cool to get something that was worked on by someone who worked on the games.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so and the person was really nice too, so I'm glad that I was able to befriend them.
That's sick. Yeah, not a lot of people have like stuff signed from like developers, so yeah, that's sick. Wait, so is your Tears of the Kingdom sealed?
No, it's opened.
Okay. I was gonna say.
No, I'm not.
Did they sign the outer wrap?
Yeah, no, it's because of the lighting that it looks like it's wrapped, but no, all the games are unsealed.
Okay.
Yeah, because like I'm not gonna buy another copy of Tears of the Kingdom. Right. That is $80 right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyone listening or watching, buy Tears of the Kingdom. My friend and his colleagues worked really hard on this game, so please support them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's go to the next slide.
Okay. Where's my... Oh.
Yeah, so these are more Switch games. Yep. Some of them are loose cards because I left their cases back at my my mom's place. Yeah. I didn't bring them with me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I put my Switch games in like this little case that I got for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And
very nice.
Yeah,
very clean.
That's just basically it. Just like a little carrying case to put my Switch games, and it's definitely really convenient because there's like a lot of space, so I could put a bunch of different games, and I could take it with me whenever I go traveling and stuff.
Yeah.
So I just have like my entire library within my pocket or backpack.
Nice. I need to get one of these for myself as well, but the thing is, I don't have a lot of Switch games, so right now it's not really worth getting one of these just for like 5 games.
Well, I'm sure they have like smaller ones that you can get.
No, in that case, then yeah, maybe I'll look for those.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next slide.
Okay. Here we go. Oh, so yeah, here are my 5 Switch games. So I went for the Switch Lite. I didn't really want to. So I don't usually have like a lot of money to like just buy a new console. So buying a new console for me is like very rare. And so the way that I got my Switch Lite was I actually traded in like a bin full of like games. It was maybe like 40 or 50 games total. And so I traded those in to like a retro game store. And I got enough money to get this Switch Lite plus like a few other like stuff. Like I got a lot for it. And so yeah, I went for the Switch Lite because I didn't want to like also get a Pro controller, right? So, and I don't mind that it's strictly handheld. But yeah, so I only have these 5 games. Literally, the main reason why I wanted to get a Switch in the first place was for Bayonetta 3. I love my Bayonetta games.
Base.
And Bayonetta Origins, I actually really enjoyed. That one, like, was a surprise hit for me. I recommend. That's like a top tier recommendation from me actually. So if you have a Switch, I definitely recommend checking this out. It doesn't play like the other Bayonetta games. It's more like a 3D Metroidvania. So you gain abilities that allow you to progress further into the game, and the battle system requires like the use of like both sticks. So you control 2 different characters, one with each stick, and it's just very different. It's really cool. But then when you get to the ending, that's when it starts feeling like Bayonetta. Like the final boss battle is just crazy. So yeah. And I also got Blasphemous 2. I love the first game, which I have on PS4. I haven't started Blasphemous 2 yet. I wanted to get the true ending in Blasphemous 1 first, and then I'll start Blasphemous 2. And then Rhapsody, this is Marvel Kingdom Chronicles. So, the Rhapsody series, there are 3 of them. We only ever got the first one for PS1, and then we never got the other 2 until this release, which came out, I think, last year. Yeah. So this is the first time that the West has ever gotten Rhapsody 2 and 3. So I definitely had to grab that one. And then SNK Heroines, Tag Team Frenzy. So for my Switch games, I try to keep them... I try to stick with games that are physically exclusive to Switch. So... SNK Heroines is on the PS4, but not physically. So that's why I have that, yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, this is just a SNK fighting game. I just wanted a waifu fighter.
Nice.
It's great. And so I don't plan on getting a lot of Switch games. I'm probably gonna cap it at like 10 total. Because I'm mainly using the Switch actually for... So like I'm buying like all the games that I have on Steam, or at least the games that are available on Switch. So all the games that I can that are on my Steam account, I want to get on the Switch eShop. And then basically this Switch Lite will pretty much be my like Steam Deck. Because I don't really use my Steam a lot. So, and playing digital indie games on Switch is like really... It's like perfect. So yeah. So yeah, that's my small Switch collection. We can go on to the next slide, which is 3DS games and DS games.
Yeah, so this is my complete in box DS and 3DS games.
Yeah.
And then in the next slide, I have my loose cards. And honestly, I regret not keeping the boxes to all my DS games.
Yeah.
I was young and I threw them away.
Yep.
Honestly.
Yep.
Yeah, it sucks. but yeah, so these are the completed box ones that I do own. The Mario and Luigi games were gifted by Jem. He gave me his collection.
Yeah.
And I believe the Partners in Time has the Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga in it.
Yeah.
I forgot to take a picture of it, but I have Superstar Saga and it's in the Partners in Time case.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one thing that surprised me about the DS that it's region free, because I have a Japanese copy of Chrono Trigger.
Yep,
and
that looks so beautiful.
The DS version of Chrono Trigger is one of the few DS games that actually has an English option.
Man, I didn't know that. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's like I think 5 other games have it, but I think half of them are Ace Attorney games.
Oh, true. That's cool.
And Chrono Trigger is just like probably the one exception.
Yeah.
So I got the Japanese version of Chrono Trigger DS.
That's sick.
Because of it. And yeah, so these are just basically the few remaining clean and box games that I have for the DS handheld. So
good collection still.
Yeah, so let's go to the next slide where you can see the rest of my DS games.
Loose carts, yeah.
Yep, the loose carts section, and just makes me sad looking at them. Yeah, I used to have some more DS games, but I ended up giving them to my little brother.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so these are just the remaining games that I have for both the DS and 3DS. Some of my personal favorites are Mario 64 DS, Kirby Superstar Ultra, Namco Museum, Sonic Classic Collection. The most recent 3DS game was actually Epic Mickey Power of Illusion. It's a 2D side-scroller. It's really fun.
Yeah.
And not shown in this slide, in a later slide, but I actually did find my case and manual for Corpse Party for the 3DS.
Nice.
So that's a little foreshadowing. And yeah, that's basically my DS and 3DS games. Not a lot. I used to have more. I gave them away. So yeah, I'll definitely rebuild my collection someday.
Wait, you have the box for Power of Illusion though. It's literally in the last slide.
I know. I just forgot to take a pic. I forgot to take a picture. That's another game that I found.
Oh, I see.
That's why. Okay. That's why it's a bit confusing.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Because I first took a picture of the loose cards. Wasn't until I found the case for Power of Illusion, and then later I found the case for Corpse Party. I'm just like, I don't want to have to take all my games out just to take this picture. So I'll just put all the stuff that I forgot or found to the very end. But yeah, so let's go to the next slide.
Okay.
And it's your collection.
So these are my DS and 3DS games. So here's my console also. So the 3DS is actually my most recent console that I've picked up. I maybe only got it a few months ago, and I hacked it mainly so I can play my GBA games, which I'll show you later. So you can see my GBA games there on the 3DS. But yeah, I don't have a lot of physical DS games. I have maybe like 4 3DS games total and like 5 OG DS games. So yeah, here are some of them here. Elite Beat Agents, I absolutely love. It's just a really fun rhythm game. Do you know what Osu is? Like the rhythm game for PC? Yeah, so...
Yeah, I played Osu.
So Elite Beat Agents, that's actually the original Osu. So Osu is based on this series of games, Elite Beat Agents.
Oh!
Yeah. And then Glory of Heracles, I'm actually playing it right now. It's not that good.
Oh, man.
I'm kind of losing interest in it already, and I'm already like 5 hours in, so I'm probably not going to keep it for much longer. And then The World Ends With You, I haven't started yet, but I hear good things about it. I definitely love the visual style, like the art style and stuff. And it's directed by the same director of like Kingdom Hearts, so yeah, I think I might enjoy it. And then for 3DS, I have Theatrhythm, Final Fantasy Curtain Call. So I actually have Theatrhythm Final Bar Line for the PS4. The one on PS4, Final Bar Line, pretty much includes everything, like every song that's on Curtain Call for 3DS, including the DLC song. So Final Bar Line, pretty much... Curtain Call is pretty much completely obsolete, but I just wanted this on handheld, and I wanted to try like how it plays on like the stylus, and it's still really fun, so I'm definitely keeping that. And then WarioWare Gold, tons of fun. I love the WarioWare games.
WarioWare Gold is an excellent choice.
It's so sick, because like I had the original WarioWare on like for GBA, and like when I was playing WarioWare Gold, I noticed a lot of the games from the original game in this one, but like they're remastered, right? And so even with the new visuals, like the nostalgia still hit. Like, whew! It was really cool seeing the random micro games in better graphics. It was so weird. Yeah, so a really great game. Now for the next slide, here are the rest of my DS and 3DS games. Pretty much the Mario and Luigi games. So you mentioned earlier that I gave you my Mario and Luigi collection, and then recently I bought my own copies again because I wanted to play them again.
The fact that you were able to get all of them back is amazing. Because I imagine some of these games have gone up in price since when you first got them.
Yeah, so actually it was only Partners in Time and Superstar Saga that were much more expensive, but the other ones were about the same price from when I got the copies that you have. So it wasn't too bad, but still, now I know to never sell my games ever again.
Yeah, because you know you're gonna want to play them again.
Yeah, pretty much. I love the Mario and Luigi games. Partners in Time, in particular, is my favorite in the series. I love all of them, but Partners in Time for sure is my favorite. The first 3 I've played a bunch. Mario and Luigi Dream Team and Paper Jam, I've only played once each. I actually want to replay them soon. I'm planning on going backwards through the series because I've played the first 3 a bunch already. So yeah, I want to see how like Paper Jam and like Dream Team hold up. So yeah, that's my entire DS 3DS collection. Not too many. I definitely plan on getting more at some point though.
Okay.
Let's go on to the next slide. Ooh, OG Game Boy games.
Yeah, so we have both Game Boy and Game Boy Color games.
Nice.
Now, most of these games I've played on the 3DS since they were on the Virtual Console.
Yeah.
Like Donkey Kong, Mario Land 2, Game & Watch Gallery. Those games I played on the 3DS. So I'm kind of familiar with the Game Boy and Game Boy Color games.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these games I played on my Super Nintendo via the Super Game Boy. And they have some some neat bonuses to them, like whether it be like special borders or sound effects, or in the case of Space Invaders, you get a 16-bit remake of Space Invaders.
That's cool.
Within that Game Boy card. That's super cool.
That's really cool. What the heck?
Yeah, that's one thing most people don't know about. I believe it's the only Super Nintendo, or I mean Game Boy game that does that, because no other game has like a built-in game when you put it in the Super Game Boy. So I think Space Invaders is the only one that does it.
It's so random. Just Space Invaders.
Yeah, so while the Super Game Boy does play some Game Boy Color games, it's only the black cartridge ones. The two transparent carts that I have, Super Mario Brothers Deluxe and Mega Man Extreme 2, those don't work on the Super Game Boy. So the only way I would play those games is either on a Game Boy Color, a Game Boy Advance, or the Game Boy Player for the GameCube.
Yeah.
So the next slide is more Game Boy games, but this time it's the Game Boy Advance. So we're looking at the my complete in box copies.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't really collect complete in box copies of GBA games because they're boxes and those are kind of terrible. I don't like them.
Yeah, but same.
The three that I did collect for Pac-Man Collection, Namco Museum, and Win Hickston's Counter Punch. Nice. Those I got a complete in box for about like decent prices. Counter Punch was probably like about $40.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not bad. Now, what I wish how GBA games were packaged is how they look from the Famicom Mini releases.
Yeah, those are cool.
So in the US, they released their NES ports in those big boxes.
Yeah.
But in Japan, they released them in these like small little plastic cases, and the boxes that hold the cartridges are made to look like their original packaging on the Famicom.
That's really neat. I like that.
Yeah, I love these. And for their Famicom disc games, all the cartridges are yellow.
Ooh.
Whereas the Famicom games, Pac-Man and Super Mario Brothers, the cartridges are red and white.
Yeah,
to represent the Famicom colors. Yeah. So,
cool.
So the Famicom ports are my favorite ones to collect for. I definitely want to collect them all.
Mm-hmm.
And the one other complete in box GBA game that I have is the original WarioWare.
Nice.
That Jem also gifted to me.
Yeah.
I played.
Have you played it?
I did play it, but not on Game Boy Advance. I played it on my Wii U.
Oh, okay. But you haven't played that copy.
I haven't played it yet, but I definitely know that this thing has like stickers that you could smell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did try to smell them, and I didn't smell anything. So I think the scent weared off.
Probably.
Yeah, but definitely when I want to play WarioWare on original hardware, I'll definitely play the copy that you gave.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next slide is more GBA games.
Ooh. I'm liking this.
So these are
a good collection right here.
These are the Loose Card Gang.
I'm seeing some bangers already.
Yeah, so Super Mario Advance was one of the earlier games that I remember playing.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin had a GBA, and I played Mario Advance 1 a lot when I was really little. I didn't even own a GBA, but I remember that game specifically. And I eventually did get my own GBA later, and it was always a challenge to play it in general because it didn't have a backlight. So
right.
I had to play all my games on an angle just to get some good lighting on the screen.
Yep.
Now these days, I've been playing my GBA games on the Game Boy Player for the GameCube.
Yeah.
Yes. One of the things that I want to do with my old GBA is to mod it to put a backlit screen, a rechargeable battery. You know, just some small things because I do want to play it on. I want to play my games on original hardware. Technically, the Game Boy Player is original hardware, but I want to play it on an actual handheld and not on the TV.
Yeah, modded GBA would be like perfect.
Yeah, I thought about getting the SP, but I it's just too small for my hands.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so I prefer the original because it just feels a lot more comfortable. And out of all these GBA games, the one that I'm attached to the most is Azumanga Daioh Advance.
Yeah, I'm eyeing that cart. Like, what kind of game is that?
This is a puzzle card game. So you essentially you get cards and you have to connect these stars in a line. And the longer the star combo is, the more damage you do to your opponent. I actually played this a lot on my modded Wii via a GBA emulator.
Nice.
So just recently, I got the card for that game, and it is just as fun as I remember playing it.
I kind of want to get my own copy now.
Yeah, it's cheap when I bought it off the proxy site. So hopefully you could find some copies.
True.
Copies there.
Oh, that's sick.
But yeah, so this is my GBA collection.
Nice, good collection, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so up next, these are my GBA games. I only have these 9. So, let's see here. I think maybe a year or 2 after high school, I actually sold a lot of my Nintendo stuff, so consoles and games, right? Because I was more into collecting CDs then, right? So metal albums.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I just wanted to focus on other stuff. I didn't need all these games anymore, and so. But now, I pretty much recollected my childhood GBA games, which are these 9. There are a few more, but I'm not really interested in playing those ones again. These are the 9 that I really wanted the most. So yeah. So I've already mentioned before, I love the Mario and Luigi series, so I had to get Superstar Saga again. So I actually also have Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection for the PS4. So I didn't need a solo copy of Battle Network 3 white version, but I had to grab it again because that was one of the first GBA games I ever played, and so I have mad nostalgia for that one. Of course, had to get the original WarioWare. So I actually had that one in box when I originally got it, and so it's the box and manual for that game was really fun because the manual has activities in it that you like word searches, there were stickers, stuff like that. And so they're probably going to be mad expensive now, but if you can find a brand new copy of WarioWare Inc. just to see what the manual looked like, it was really cool. But yeah, it's gonna be over $100. So,
damn.
I don't know if that's gonna be worth just to see a word search, just to see a crossword puzzle.
It's the most expensive word search ever.
Yeah, exactly. And what else do I have here? So Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. I feel like this is the best version of this game. There's also a like a version on PS2, and like of course, most of the Kingdom Hearts games are on like modern consoles now also. But I feel like it's best played in the original GBA version. Yeah, and like the sprite art, like the pixel art in this game is just fantastic. They really push the limits of the GBA with that one. And Advance Wars 1 and 2, classic tactical strategy games. I'm not the biggest fan of like those kind of turn-based strategy games because my brain is too unga bunga to to think about like battle plans and all that stuff, or think of it like 3 steps ahead, stuff like that. But I really like the Advance Wars games. They're simple enough that I can get through them okay. And Astro Boy Omega Factor, this one is a big one for me. I love Astro Boy, like the anime and stuff. This game was so sick. Man. Bro, this game is so sick. I can't believe it.
I play that game emulated. That's also another emulated game that I played, and I really want to get it.
Yeah. And like it's really hard too. Like they because I just played it on like normal, and like, bro, this game will beat you up. But it's still really fun. So yeah. And I also have Yu-Gi-Oh! This is Worldwide Edition, Stairway to the Destined Duel. I was super into Yu-Gi-Oh! Around the time when I first got like my GBA. It was probably like, I don't know, grade 7. I was super young. I was also into Yu-Gi-Oh! At that time too, and so of course I had to grab that Game Boy version of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because all my friends were playing it. It was a sick game. So yeah. So not a big GBA collection. There's maybe only like one other game that I want to get from my childhood again, which is WarioWare Twisted. But that one is really expensive now, so I'm okay with waiting. So yeah. Now we can move on to the next slide.
All right, so this is my last PlayStation slide.
Okay.
And this is the small PSP collection. So Jem actually did give me his old PSP.
Yeah.
It works, but the main problem is that it needs to be plugged in at all times. Otherwise, the console
it just won't.
Yeah, I think it's something wrong with the battery, but it also doesn't connect to the internet. So
no.
So the only thing I really can do is just play games on it, and honestly, that's kind of the reason why I haven't been collecting that much PSP games.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so the games that Jem actually gave me was a Capcom Classics Collection, Metal Slug Anthology, and a Street Fighter Alpha 3 Max. But the 2 games that I bought for myself were Castlevania Dracula X Chronicles and Mega Man Powered Up.
Nice.
And yeah, both Mega Man and Castlevania are my favorites so far. I also really enjoyed Street Fighter Alpha 3 Max.
It's such a shame that version of the game is only on the PSP. Like, how is it not ported?
Yeah, I really wish that Alpha 3 Max got released on other platforms. At least PC. If it only got a PC part, I would be okay with.
Exactly. Capcom, what are you doing?
Yeah, so I want to get a new PSP before I start collecting PSP games again.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's something that's on the back burner right now. But so far, the PSP, I like it. It's a neat handheld, and I'm looking forward to checking out some more games on it. And so the next slide is...
So continuing with the handheld PlayStation consoles, this is my Vita collection. So yeah, I mentioned before when I traded in like a lot of my games like after high school, like I pretty much fell off from collecting for like a good like 8 years. So like in that time I was more focused on like drawing and like doing my own YouTube stuff. So basically just like doing all that stuff, pretty much, like, I didn't play a lot of games during that time just because I was so busy with drawing and making videos for my channel, stuff like that. But then in 2019, that's when I imported this Vita along with Miracle Girls Festival.
An amazing choice.
Yeah. I pretty much got the Vita because of Miracle Girls Festival. So at that time, I was watching like anime a lot. So I wanted this game because it was all these. I recognize a lot of these characters, right, in this game. Mm-hmm. So, and I like rhythm games, and it's literally a rhythm game of like anime songs that I like. So, anyways. Yeah, when I got this Vita, that's in 2019. That's pretty much what got me back into collecting games, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't have too many Vita games. Just these 5 here. Child of Light, really great JRPG, but it's developed by Ubisoft, so it's technically not a Japanese RPG, but anyways. Still really great game. Ys Memories of Celceta, like I mentioned before, I love the Ys series. This one is fantastic also. And World of Final Fantasy. And then my other import game here is Muramasa Rebirth. So this is the Japanese version. The English version is a bit expensive. The Japanese version I can get by fine. Without understanding a lot of the text. It's a side-scrolling beat 'em up, so you don't really need to understand the mechanics too deeply. So yeah, when I used to have my PSP, these are the only 2 PSP games I kept because Dissidia Final Fantasy Duodecim, this was a birthday present, so I just wanted to keep that. I bought it digitally again for Vita, so just so I can still technically play it. And then Perfect Blue, this isn't actually a game. It's just a UMD movie, but I kept it just because anime movies on PSP are just really cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So not a big Vita collection. I might get a few more, but honestly, I'm pretty good with where I'm at right now, so... This is, I'm pretty much done collecting for Vita for now. Alright, moving on. Ooh, Evercade. What do we have here?
Alright, so this is a handheld that not a lot of people know about. And the Evercade is essentially just a console that just mainly has officially licensed games from various companies, like Capcom, Namco, Atari. It also has like a bunch of indie games from like smaller devs, like Alan's Awakening, Good Boy Galaxy, and such. I'm a late adopter to the Evercade, and I mostly got it to collect old retro games that were expensive.
Yeah.
So the Evercade just gives us a more affordable way to collect these games at a reasonable price. Because all these games are about like $20 each. Obviously, some of these games, unfortunately, were discontinued, like the Namco Museum games and Pico Collection Volume 1. So those prices have definitely gone up. But for the games that they have available right now, you could get them all for $20, and I think that it's definitely worth it, because even if you buy a collection and you only like, let's say, 1 or 2 games, it's still worth the $20 since everything else on that card would be like a bonus.
Yeah, definitely.
I actually used to own the original Evercade, and then I sold it because I wanted to get the XP. But then later I rebought the original again because it was cheaper.
Nice, yeah.
So I'll get the XP someday. I also want to get the Versus so I can play the games on my TV.
Nice.
And also, I just think the Evercade Versus console just looks pretty nice. And hopefully, we get cartridges from like Sega, Konami, and SNK.
Oh, that would be sick.
That would be sick. But yeah, that's my Evercade collection.
Nice. Which ones are your favorites so far, would you say?
I would have to say Namco Museum Volume 1 and 2,
Yep.
Pico Collection 1, Atari Lynx Collection 1, Codemasters Collection, Renovations, Duke Nukem Collection Volume 1,
Mm-hmm.
The Good Boy Galaxy and Witch and Whiz, and the most recent Pico Collection Volume 4.
Nice. Good picks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so for the next slide, this is pretty much my Evercade collection. Not much.
Not much, but still a lot.
Still bangers. So I actually, the Taito Super Pocket and Interplay Collection 1 were actually gifts from Jonsp2000. So thank you again, bro.
Hey.
Yeah, the Taito Super Pocket is pretty much my Puzzle Bobble machine. I play Puzzle Bobble on this so much.
Nice.
It's so sick. And yeah, the Interplay collection I love because, like I mentioned before, when my brother used to have a Genesis, I played Earthworm Jim a lot, and I also remember like Boogerman. So getting to replay those on the Super Pocket has been really fun too. And then Renovation I picked up myself, mainly for Valis. That's like the only game I know from this entire collection. But what's great about these Evercade multi-game carts are, like, they're great for like discovering like games that I've never heard of before. And so yeah, the Renovation one was like a big one. A lot of really fun games on that. I'd love to get the Toa Plan collection cart at some point, because I need more of like the really old like shooters, like shoot 'em ups, and I mainly want it for like Zero Wing. So yeah, I'm hoping to get that one sometime soon. So yeah, small collection, but I love it.
Amazing, amazing collection so far.
Yeah, yo. All right, so the next section of our podcast here will pretty much just be the consoles that we have. So that was pretty much all of our games. So now we'll start with consoles. So take it away.
Yes. So this is my Sega console collection.
Yeah.
My mom actually had a Sega Genesis, and I used to play with hers a lot growing up. So I basically just been playing like Sonic and Knuckles, TMNT, Hyperstone Heist, and she had like I think NBA Jam and a Justice League fighting game. But Sonic and Knuckles and Ninja Turtles were the main two, and those games were essentially what got me into the Sega Genesis.
Yeah, yo, that's sick.
So as you can see right here, I have 3 Genesises. Well, technically one of them is a Mega Drive, and I have 2 Sega CDs, 32X, and a Sega Saturn. So let's start off with the first US Model 1 Genesis. This was the first Genesis that I bought. This one barely works. This one barely works. It only works when it feels like it, and most of the time the sound doesn't work. Like, I just play games with no sound. So I immediately bought another Genesis, which was the US Model 2 right here. This one does work, and for the longest time that's the one I've been using.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I bought a Japanese Mega Drive that has a region switch. So on the pick next to it, that's the switch.
So that's what that thing is. That's cool.
Yeah. So I could switch it between the US region, PAL region, and the Japanese region. And what's also cool about it is that the person made the cartridge slot wider, so that way Genesis games could fit into the Mega Drive.
Oh, nice.
So that Mega Drive is my go-to way to play Genesis games. And so you notice the two Sega CDs.
Yep.
The one connected to the Mega Drive, that is my primary one. The one at the bottom with the Model 2. Unfortunately, I accidentally broke that one. I tried to do a region, try to install a region-free BIOS onto it, but I didn't desolder it correctly, and I accidentally ripped off some traces. I could technically still fix it. I would have to just use some wires and connect from there. But that's pretty difficult, and so I just bought another Sega CD.
Yeah,
I'll definitely fix it someday, but right now, I'm just gonna leave it alone.
Yeah,
and my 32X is kind of broken. It works, but most of the time it doesn't work. Sometimes games would freeze or not run at all.
Yeah.
I thought about fixing it, but after I broke my Sega CD, I'm just like, I think I'm just gonna send it to someone, because these add-ons are really expensive. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna send my 32X off to get fixed somewhere someday. And my Sega Saturn is perfect. I played both my US and Japanese games on it via the Action Replay, and it's a beautiful baby. I have nothing more to say about it.
Yeah.
It's just that perfect.
Works perfectly. Nothing wrong with it. I like it.
Yeah, and that's basically all my Sega consoles.
Nice. Yeah, see, that's like a big thing for me. Like, I'm not big into like opening up a console to like fix stuff. I'm not really good at that kind of stuff. So like, whenever one of my consoles just dies like that, I don't think I would like collect for it anymore. I would literally just get rid of it. Just stop using it.
Give them to me so I could potentially revive it, because I definitely want to learn how to fix these. Because sending it off to fix it somewhere is kind of expensive depending on where you get it fixed. But I do definitely like opening them up and seeing like how they work, the inner workings and stuff.
All right, so I'll do that for my PS2. The PS2, I'll definitely try to keep, like, I'll send that to you. But any other consoles, like, no, it's too much work to send it.
Yeah, that's fine.
And whenever those die, like, I'll have a bunch of games to sell all at once, so it'll be good money.
Yeah, that's fine.
But in the meantime, everything still works, so I can enjoy them.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next slide.
So, the next slide is the not Sega consoles, and basically the first non-Nintendo console that I got, besides the Genesis, was the Xbox 360.
Nice. Yep.
Yeah, and you can see right there are the PS2 and the PS4. Obviously, I don't really play the PS4 all that often. I've definitely been playing more PS2 as of late, mostly because it's backwards compatible with PS1.
Yep.
And also, that's my PC engine. So, on the back, the thing that is attached to it's an add-on that allows you to save your games, because the base PC engine, the first model, doesn't actually save data. You have to get an adapter in order to like save your games and stuff. But what's also cool about that one is it's modded, and so it's modded to have AV output, because the original model only had RF output, which essentially is like you have to screw the wire to the TV.
Yeah.
Whereas AV out, you just connect it to the back of your TV, and it's very simple. So that's basically how I've been able to play PC Engine games on my TV.
Yeah, I'd probably do something. I'd probably go a similar route as well then, if whenever I get into PC Engine. Yeah, AV mod.
Definitely get the later models because those have AV output built in.
Oh, true.
That one I didn't know until it was too late, so
yeah,
I just kind of had to deal with it.
Yeah.
So the next slide is
this looks like Nintendo consoles.
Yeah, these are all the Nintendo consoles that.
Good stuff.
So yeah, obviously the first console that I collected for was the NES, and then followed by the Super Nintendo. I bought the SNES Junior because over the original because I thought it looked nice. It was smaller, it was cleaner, so I picked that one up. And apparently, the SNES Junior is a lot more expensive than the regular SNES. So. Yeah, so my mom bought both of those for about $20 each in the early 2010s at a flea market.
Yo.
So obviously all the good stuff is at the flea markets.
Yep.
Yeah, so that GameCube is actually my second GameCube. We have a surprise guest.
How's it going? What's up, HBJ?
Hello, HBJ.
Hello. I see we're recording something. What are we playing?
Well, we're not playing anything. We're recording a podcast talking about our game collections.
Yeah, yo.
Oh, shit. Nice.
Welcome.
Is this going on West?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes.
So, yeah, you guys have like a huge collection of games. Like, I remember, Jim, you had that one video on West that is just like, here's an entire library of every game that ever existed. And John is just like, yo, here's literally every retro game that has ever existed. And together, there's this multi-generational, like, collection of every game that ever existed.
That's pretty much us, yeah.
Here, if you wanna follow along, maybe this link will work. Yeah, we're pretty much just going through this.
Oh my gosh, you guys have a PowerPoint too?
Hell yeah, dude!
Yeah, holy shit, this is some high budget West.
That's how we're showing off our games.
Yo, you guys have such a. Yo, why are you guys putting so much effort into this?
Yo, we went because it's for 500 subscribers.
it's for our 3 fans, HBJ.
Yeah.
Wait, this is the 500 subscriber special?
Yeah.
All of our videos are gonna be 500 subscriber specials.
Man, so we're like 1,000 subscribers late.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the 500 video special?
Yeah, that. Oh, fuck.
Oh, was that it? 500 videos? Okay.
Screw it. We're gonna call it our 500 subscriber special.
Okay.
If this is the 500 subscriber special, the thing that I'm putting together is going to be I guess the 1,000.
True. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Or maybe we can put it as as both a 500 video and 1,000 subscriber special.
Yeah, let's do that.
There we go.
Oh, yo, you have the extension, the extended mag on the GameCube with the GBA.
That's the Game Boy player.
Yeah, that shit was sick. Yo, I lost my mind when I got to play Kirby and the Amazing Mirror on the big screen.
Right.
I shat myself. No doubt. I shat myself.
Dude, this thing is so expensive now. You wanna know how much this cost me in US dollar?
For the extended mag?
Yeah, for the extended mag and the disc, because you need the disc to play Game Boy Advance games.
Bro,
it's the stupidest shit ever.
How much is it?
The disc by itself is like $150.
Holy.
Yeah, and the mag is like I got it for like $20. So in total, it's like almost $200.
Holy crap! I could buy half of a free run plushie with that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it's about wait. Sorry, 1 second. I need y'all to bear with me.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
All right. I need to know. Do I buy this?
What is this? Let me see.
This is a free run plushie.
It looks cute. How much is it?
Yeah, how much?
After all the conversions, it's like 300 something bucks. But look at this thing. Wait, I'm gonna start sending some photos. Like, look at this thing.
Is it
official?
Is it large? Oh, it's large. Okay.
It's large, and I saw it in person at Anime North, and it looks damn good. And I'm like, oh shit.
This is an official plushie, not a fan-made one, right?
I think it's a fan-made one, but I think in the realm of fan-made free-run plushies, this is considered the highest quality one.
That looks really good.
It's friggin' massive. Like, okay, like this is it on a chair. Look how big this thing is.
Damn.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like, do I want to drop $340 on this?
I say yes, because that thing will eventually be discontinued, and it's probably going to cost like double when you do eventually decide to get it in the far future.
Aha, so that's my logic. I'm like, I really like free run. I haven't even finished watching the first season yet, but like, I really like this. And I know with plushies, this shit gets like discontinued, and it gets really hard to find, and it gets really rare.
There's like a Squid Girl plushie that looks kind of like this that was released way back in the early 2000s, and
the big one. Yeah,
I want that, but that shit is like super expensive now.
That's like long gone. Yeah, I say go for it, bro.
Go for it.
Man, it's just like, I'm just having so much trouble. Okay, so if both of you send me $170, I think this could work.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
You're gonna swing me 170?
I mean, I don't have the money right now. I'll give it to you later.
Yo, just sell the sell the adapter thingy.
I'm not gonna fucking sell it. I mean, maybe I will, but not today.
Wait, on the screen recording, are you going through all the pictures of the plushie?
No, I didn't show.
Yeah. Just open up Discord. Just look at this. It's so full of joy.
Yeah, you can probably find it if you just search like giant free run plushie. You'll probably see it.
Yeah,
I put it on the Discord.
Jem is like set up right now, so I don't think he could look at the Discord.
Ah, shit.
Yeah, I can't show anything except what's on my screen right now because I don't want. I don't want to mess anything up in the recording.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell you what. Can I Photoshop around one of these plushies, and then I can like, you can put it in the thumbnail.
Yeah, we can put it.
Yeah.
Put it in the thumbnail like this random plushie.
Yeah, this is gonna be sick.
That'll be the checkpoint for the video. So the checkpoint is, what are your thoughts on the free run plushie that's on the thumbnail?
Yeah, and then does HBJ buy it or not? And if so, who will be the lucky person to swing me $340?
We'll leave the PayPal link in the description.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you guys a PayPal link, and then you can put it up there.
Perfect.
Actually, this could be a Discord emote as well. Fuck it, I'm gonna make this a Discord emote. We don't have enough free run in the.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I just derailed your gaming
no
talk.
Worries.
I'm just gonna tool around free run over here, and then I'll and then you.
Nah, dude, that's fine. We purposely decided to record on the West server for something like this to happen.
Oh, just so that.
Yeah, you're free to.
So that HBJ comes into the server, doesn't talk about games, rants about buying a free run plushie, and how expensive it is, then beg for money, and then remain silent for the rest of the gaming conversation.
Yeah, you're free to stay if you want.
Yeah, you don't mind.
It's midnight for me right now, so however long, how much longer I stay, you know.
Yeah,
sure.
We have a lot of stuff, so I don't know how much longer we're gonna be here.
Holy shit! Wait, how long have you guys been into this recording right now?
This recording has gone on for 2.5 hours.
Oh my gosh.
We're
all right.
There's like 60 slides total. We're on slide number 43.
That's literally almost the length of a university lecture.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Just keep going. Keep going. It's like, yeah, I'll keep cropping around this.
Yeah, sure.
Cropping around. Yeah.
All right, so back to.
You were talking about the GameCube.
Yeah, that is my second GameCube that I got for free from a neighbor.
Nice.
Honestly, that was kind of his loss.
Yeah,
he
seriously.
didn't know how value that thing was. So
yeah, seriously.
And then later I bought the Game Boy player. So I could play my GBA games on it.
Speaking of GameCube, someone tell Sakurai to stop working on Smash and put out Kirby Air Ride 2. Yeah. I need that shit. I need that shit. Kirby Air Ride Battle Royale.
Right.
Come back to this one WESTcast, episode 2.5 years from now and be like, wow, yeah, Kirby Battle Royale is a good game. No, I came up with it first.
Right.
Who do you think who do you think you are? I am.
It's been said here first. It's been said here first. Kirby Air Ride Battle Royale.
But
there's a lot of instances where there's something is like said or done here, and then it gets picked up by the masses, and then we're like never in the picture. Like for example, like speedrunning and mashups. Like
true.
Like, yeah, and then also the little thing where we did where the song plays like and you're outside the club or you're in the locker room.
Yeah.
There's actually a YouTube page that is dedicated to that, and it has like hundreds of thousands of views.
What?
Yeah, and I'm like, we did it first, bitch.
Ah.
Technically, actually, I was the first one who did it, but like, I did it so poorly, and then you, HBJ, were like, you know what? Let me do it. Hold my beer.
Oh wait, you came up with the first?
Yeah, but like, I just put like one preset equalizer on it, and that's it. And then you're like, no, fam, this is how you do it.
Oh man, I do not remember that.
Yeah. Somebody stole our thunder. Damn.
Alright, so yeah, the extended mag on the GameCube.
Yeah, so the extended mag, and then we have the extended mag 2, which is called the Wii U.
The Wii U, yep.
Look how long this thing is.
Have you ever seen the Wii U?
Yes.
Like the Splatoon. The official like Splatoon controller setup, where it's like you have to tie the remote on the controller.
I remember. Yeah, you have to tie a Wii remote with the Pro controller, and somehow that has like gyro functions on it.
Yeah, and then that was considered like official. That was the official like setup for that, and I'm like, what the fuck? Seriously?
Yeah, I don't know why that was. Like, I thought the Pro controller had like motion controls on it, but no, it doesn't.
Nintendo, why?
Why? But yeah, the Wii U. I have a Wii. It's back home with my mom.
Oh, okay.
But so basically, if I want to play like Wii games, I just play it on the Wii. And if I want to play GameCube, well, I have my GameCube right there.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then I have my Switch, which it has like a Sonic Forces like decal on it.
True.
So I just put it on my Joy-Cons, and I also put like these HAL stick on my Joy-Cons because like Joy-Con drift sucks. Mm-hmm. So I replaced the controllers with stuff that won't break ever.
That's actually smart. I hope my Switch Lite resists the Joy-Con drift, because like if it does, like I said before, I'm not buying another Switch. That's it.
Alcohol, rubbing alcohol.
Like,
no, it doesn't.
It worked for me. It worked for like another 200 hours for me.
Oh, true.
Yeah, 200 hours.
Yeah, and then I just gotta lube it up again, but it'll work again.
At that point, I'm just like, fuck this. I just open the thing up, replace the part, and then boom, call it a day. I've had these like replacement sticks for about a year now, and they still work.
That's good.
True.
Yeah. Hopefully, the Switch 2 has like better controllers.
Yeah.
Or the Switch, or you know, it will be easier than doing all this stuff with the controllers. Just file a class action lawsuit.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, Nintendo, we got the papers. Follow Kirby Air Ride 2, and we'll settle this.
True.
Yeah. If Kirby Air Ride 2 is not a launch title for the Switch 2, then like, then what's the point?
Yeah.
At least give us GameCube Virtual Console games.
Right.
At least do that. I still have my GameCube controller adapter that I got for Smash Wii. It does work on the Switch. Like, it doesn't work for Wii games on the Wii U, but it works for all games on the Switch. It's so weird.
That's some ancient stuff I've never heard about.
Yeah.
Scott the Woz looking motherfucker over here. Oh my god.
But like, yeah, and the game on the Switch is Fanbreaker Anima.
Nice.
In case of anyone is wondering what game is that, it's a fighting game by the developers of Asuka 120% for the FM Towns computer.
I gotta grab Omnia myself, actually.
Yeah. So let's take a look at your Gem.
So this is my PS2, and then I also set out some of my favorite games for that console, because a lot of my games were like the spines showing up, because I have too many to show like the front covers and stuff. So I figured for my consoles I'll show some of my games that I like for that console. So yeah, I love the PS2, my favorite console, and some of my favorite games for the PS2 these are mostly nostalgia picks. So Dual Hearts was literally the first game I ever played on PS2. So this one is like it plays kind of like a Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, so like one of the 3D Zeldas. So it's pretty much Atlus's attempt at a Zelda game, and it's pretty cool. I really like it. And then Kingdom Hearts, of course. Kingdom Hearts 1 especially is like my favorite in the series. And then Shadow of the Colossus, one of my literally like top 5 favorite games. Shadow of the Colossus. And then for PS1, so all 3 of these games are actually like my grails. So these are like the most expensive games at the time. And once I got these, like I pretty much I was like ready to slow down on collecting, because I'd gotten like the 3 ones that I really wanted the most. And so those are Mega Man Legends, Lunar Silver Star Story, and Rhapsody: A Musical Adventure. So Rhapsody is actually a gift from Jonsp again. Thanks again, man.
You're welcome.
And Mega Man Legends, I actually got this when I got along with my Switch Lite. So when I traded in all those games, so I had enough also to get this sealed copy of Mega Man Legends.
Wait, it's sealed?
Yeah, it's sealed. I haven't opened it yet.
Oh my god.
So I'm not gonna keep it sealed. I'll open it when I'm actually ready to play it. So it's not gonna stay sealed forever.
Are you gonna keep the smiley face sticker on it?
I want to keep the Walmart sticker.
oh, it's Walmart. Okay.
It's a Walmart sticker. Yeah. Yeah. So
one thing I want to say about Dual Hearts, it's funny that you said Atlus make a Zelda game, because like literally Crusader of Senti on Sega Genesis. Well, it's not made by Atlus. It was published by them, but that is also
true.
as a Zelda-like game. So technically, Atlas has 2 Zelda clones on their resume.
So that was their attempt at like a Link to the Past.
Yeah.
Nice. That's cool. All right. Next slide. So this is my PS3. So this is a Lightning, like Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Edition, 250 gigabyte PS3. Yeah, I really like Final Fantasy 13. I'm sure you can tell.
That looks beautiful.
Yeah. So the way that I got this, I actually did a drawing commission for a friend, and I don't know if I should share this or if this is like doxing, but like I actually don't have a bank account. So yeah, I don't have a bank account. I deal.
So there's nothing to dox.
Okay. So
I might be wrong.
So when I do commissions and stuff, I usually just if I know them in person, then just give me like cash, or if not, then I just get them to like buy me something on like eBay, right? And so I did this drawing commission for my friend, and I asked him to get me this Lightning Edition PS3. So yeah.
Okay, that makes sense, because like I want to give you money, but you keep telling me just buy me stuff instead.
Yeah, yeah, that's why, because I don't have a bank account.
Well, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Man.
And yeah, so some of my favorite games for the PS3, Final Fantasy 13, of course. So this is actually a very divisive game in the series. Some people either really like the game or really hate it. There's no like in between. I'm in the camp that really likes this game. Ni no Kuni is one of the best like RPGs I've ever played. Blur, so I'm not a big fan of driving games, but I really like this game because especially like driving games where it's just like realistic cars, like I don't care about cars. I'm not a car guy. But like this game, it's a driving game, but it plays like Mario Kart. So like you like pick up power-ups while you're racing, and like you shoot like your opponents, or like speed boost, all that stuff.
I actually remember the commercials for Blur, where it's essentially just like these cute characters, and like one of the characters goes off and looks at the other side, and it's just like realistic racing. And then I remember that character punching another character, and that's how the commercial ended.
Yeah. And then next to that, I have my favorite fighting game of all time, King of Fighters 13. And then last one here is Time and Eternity. This is a really weird like JRPG. It kind of looks like, look up the trailer for Time and Eternity. It looks like a Sega CD FMV game. It's so weird. But like, and it didn't get that really good reviews, and I can understand it's kind of jank. But like it got like 40s in like professional reviews, and to me it's at least a 60. But I can understand why it was rated so low. It's very repetitive. The story is kind of weird, and the battles can get very repetitive because there's not many like enemy types. But it's such a weird game that I liked it. So yeah. It's a bit expensive, so if you do want to try this game, I think there's a port on PS4. I could be wrong though. But like, don't pay over $40 for this game. I will give you that. Because if you're getting it just to try it, it's not worth more than $40. So yeah.
Damn.
And then my next console, the PS4. So yes, I sticker bombed my PS4. That's because so the orientation of like the PS4 logo on the top of the console, it bothered me so much because it doesn't face frontwards. It doesn't face towards the like where the disc tray is, right? Yeah. I don't know why they put it towards the side. Like why would you do that, Sony? Like who designed this? And so like it like triggered my OCD so much that I sticker bombed my console to cover it. So yeah, it looks so much cooler now. It has a lot more personality. So my favorite games for the console, Crash 4, like we mentioned before. one of the best platformers I've ever played. Dragon Quest XI S. I was just completely like hooked like the first hour into the game. Just super like 90s JRPG vibes all the way through. I loved it. And then Ys 9, I love the Ys series. Ys 8 was a close second to me. But I liked Ys 9 slightly more. I liked the story in this one much more. And then Persona 3 Reload, I only put this here because this is my like most recent pickup for the PS4. So I'm really excited to get into that one. I've actually played the original Persona 3 on PS2. My friend, like in high school, he lent me his copy. And I played it for like a little bit and then gave it back. So I never actually completed it. So now I can play it now. And then Final Fantasy VII Remake. I actually don't have the space to install this on my console. I don't think I ever will, because again, I like to have as many of my games installed on my PS4 as much as I can.
That case art though for Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah, there was a seller on eBay that was selling like alt covers, and I love this one so much that I had to get it.
Honestly, yeah, I would too.
It's amazing. I love it.
It's amazing.
All right, my next slide is my 360. This is the Xbox 360S, or the Slim. I put a little like Iced Earth band sticker on it, just to give it some more personality. I needed a place for this sticker because I've had this sticker for a long time, but I ran out of space on my PS4, so I put it on my 360. But yeah, so for my 360, I try to stick to mainly the exclusives for it, especially exclusive JRPGs. So like it's really interesting because like the 360 is the only Xbox console that has like a decent number of JRPGs, but like it's still like not a lot, but it's the only Xbox console that actually has like a decent selection of JRPGs, because that's when Microsoft really tried to like get the Xbox brand more popular in Japan, right? Because the original Xbox, they didn't like care about it, and then when the Xbox One and Series X came out, like Japan just ditched Xbox completely. Right? So 360 was like when Microsoft really tried to appeal to Japanese gamers, and so they released games like Blue Dragon and Lost Odyssey exclusively for the 360, and so those two games were like the big reasons why I wanted the 360. I've only played Blue Dragon. I have yet to start Lost Odyssey. And then some other games I really like for the console are Bullet Witch, Ultimate is excellent. The 360 got a lot of like shoot 'em ups, and even ported to the West as well. So like we got a lot of like Japanese shoot 'em ups here, but they're very expensive now. So Ultimatus is like the one like affordable one.
Yeah.
And then Tales of Vesperia. Tales of Vesperia, there's a remaster on like modern consoles now, but back then this was specifically for 360. So again, I'm trying to grab as many of the 360 exclusive JRPGs as I can. So yeah. Next slide. This is yours, John.
Yeah, so these are all the handheld consoles that I have. Not counting the Switch, it's just essentially the ones that I just play on my hands.
Yeah.
I have two Game Boy Advances. The black one is the one that I grew up with, and the silver one is the one that I bought very recently. Both of them I plan on modding someday.
Oh, you want to mod both? Ah, nice.
Yeah. And then, like, I have my red 3DS with the Kirby Epic Yarn sticker that I got from Club Nintendo.
That's sick.
And at the bottom is my new 3DS.
Yep.
The new 3DS is basically what I've been using these days instead of my old 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
It still works, but I think something's wrong with the battery. Probably gonna have to replace that one.
Yeah.
And then like we have the PSP that I mentioned, and next to it is the Evercade.
Nice.
It's the original.
So that's not the one that has the Capcom games pre-installed, right?
No, that is the Evercade EXP.
The EXP, all right.
and that's like the old EXP, because now they're making a new one without the Capcom games in. Yeah. So next slide. Let's
see. Ooh, mini consoles.
Yeah, these are the mini consoles.
Nice.
So I have both the Genesis and Mega Drive, the US and Japanese versions. And then I got the sequel, the Genesis and Mega Drive Mini 2s. I have my NES and SNES Classics.
Yep.
I got the PC Engine Mini, and at the bottom is the Game & Watch Super Mario Brothers Edition and an at-game Sega Genesis.
The AT Games one.
Yeah. Out of all of them, the Sega ones and the PC Engine are probably the two best ones. A lot of people would say the Super Nintendo Mini is their favorite, but honestly, I just like the variety of games on the Genesis and the PC Engine.
Yeah, we Sparkster gamers over at West.
Yeah, we like real games. Real Paul Bufanos.
Yep.
Only here.
Yep.
And then there's the at games Genesis. This thing is like hot garbage.
Yeah.
It's essentially just like a shitty Genesis clone, and like this thing, when you put a cartridge in it, the audio is like, I think it's like a bunch 5 semitones down.
Bruh.
So the pitch is turned down and it sounds very demonic. And also anytime I put a cartridge in, I feel like I'm gonna break it, because like these things are put in so tightly. When I pull it out, it feels like I'm gonna break it.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, I don't use the at games Genesis ever, but I have it anyway, just as a novelty.
That's true.
It has some pre-built games in it, a couple of Genesis games, and a bunch of other like homebrew garbage that at games loves to put in their consoles.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically all my mini consoles. If I had to say which one you should get, it's either the Genesis Mini or the PC Engine.
I actually want to get a Genesis Mini. Can you hack those?
Yeah, you could hack the first one, but not the second one.
Okay. Yeah, I want to get the first one then, because I want to hack it because that's how I would basically play my Genesis games.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, hacking it is pretty easy. It's just that like nobody has been able to hack like the second one or the PC Engine Mini.
Whenever they figure out hacks for the PC Engine Mini, then I'll definitely grab one of those too.
Yeah. So your turn.
All right. Yeah. So next slide. These are basically my mini consoles. I only have the Super Nintendo one and the PS1 Classic. So the SNES Classic, I actually won from a giveaway or like a raffle on Twitter. And it's so funny too, because it was actually a really small raffle, because like they were like a new company or something. And so I won like by default basically, because like I was like one of 3 people who entered the raffle.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Damn.
So yeah. And yeah, the SNES Classic, I love the lineup on this one. But I actually hacked it to add like 5 more games that I personally thought should have been on it. So like Chrono Trigger, I don't know how they didn't have that one on there. And then I added like a few more games that I just have personal nostalgia for. So like Wild Guns, Ninja Warriors. I think I replaced the version of Street Fighter 2 that they had on there to like one of the later versions that has more characters. And then
okay.
But otherwise I kept like all the other games on there because the lineup is just like perfect. With the PlayStation Classic, on the other hand, the lineup is hot garbage. So
Yep.
I pretty much hacked it to replace all of the games, and I also added like 50 more.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I don't know how Sony botched the games on the PlayStation Classic.
Exactly. And like, there's a bunch of like JRPGs that I'd love to get for the PS1, like physically, but they're mad expensive now. So playing them on like this hacked PS1 Classic is like a fantastic alternative to like getting those JRPGs on disc. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how Sony couldn't get Crash or Spyro. That
right? They're literally like necessary. They're literally PlayStation freaking games. Like, how do you? Huh?
Yeah, they couldn't get Crash, but we got the first Grand Theft Auto game.
Yeah.
For some reason.
And like Intelligent Cube. Huh? Anyways. Let's move on to the next one. Ooh.
Yeah, so I think after here we're pretty much done talking about consoles.
Yeah.
And games for the most part. So
yeah, the slides from now on are pretty much just like gaming related stuff, but not like actual games.
Yeah, so here's all the amiibos that I was able to bring with me, and some new ones that I bought. There's also like a Ryza Figma and a Arl from Puyo Puyo. Nice. I bought an Android of her.
Very cute.
But yeah, I'm mostly collecting the Smash Bros. Amiibos because, like, I don't know if you guys remember the trophy room in Melee where it's like all the trophies on that table.
That was sick.
Yeah, I want to recreate that, but with the amiibos.
Ooh. Yo, that'd be sick.
Yeah, that's literally the sole reason why I'm collecting things.
That's sick, yeah.
Also, I'm just collecting like ones that look cool. Like I got the Metroid Dread ones.
Yep.
I bought the Twilight Princess one with Wolf Link and Midna, and then I also have the Mega Man 11 amiibo.
Yep.
That one's pretty sick. But yeah, like, I'm running out of space to put these on, and I have a lot more back at home, so this is just a small sample of them that I have on me. And then, like, the next slide is more stuff.
Next slide. Ooh, soundtracks.
It's music. So, I mostly listen to a lot of video game music, and I've recently been starting to collect like physical, like media of like different game soundtracks. Like I have vinyls for Gimmick, and I have a vinyl for Rocket Knight Adventures.
Yep.
I don't even have a vinyl player. I just bought these because they look awesome.
Yeah, those look sick.
Yeah.
I love the art on the Gimmick one especially.
Yeah, the art on Gimmick is like really cute. I like it a lot. And then like for CDs, I got like the soundtracks for the Mega Drive Mini 1 and 2, and then also there's the soundtrack for Cut and Reboot. It has both the remakes OST and the original arcade OST.
That's cool.
And then at the bottom, I have the soundtrack for KOF 15. And unlike the other soundtracks that I got, these did not come in a jewel case. They came in a paper, like those paper envelopes where you have like the plastic casing to see the disc.
I hate those paper sleeves.
Yeah. I just basically keep those discs in like a little binder.
Yeah.
Those plastic binders where you put the CDs in.
That's the pro play.
Yeah, that is the pro play.
Because like other than games, I really like collecting CDs, and like those paper sleeves, I hate those so much. So yeah. I do the same thing too.
All right. So next slide, I'm going to go into more detail on why KOF 15's collector's edition is garbage.
Okay.
So I don't usually collect collector's editions of games because like they're expensive, and most of the time they have like stuff that I don't really care for.
Yeah.
Like, when it comes to, like, those types of things, I mostly care about the soundtrack and, like, any art books.
Mm-hmm.
And let's start with KOF first. KOF, I bought it because of the soundtrack and art book. The art book fucking sucks. All of this is just, like, renders. There's no, like, sketches or anything. It's just renders for the characters and stages. And I'm just like, this is not even an art book at this point.
Yeah.
And plus, like, the fact that, like, the soundtrack didn't, like, come in a jewel case, but in those, like, envelopes, it's just like, it's like, it was a very rushed job. The game's good. The game's alright. It's just like, the collector's edition was just, like, a big waste of money, in my opinion. Yeah. And now, some of the other better collector's editions that I got is Clockwork Aquario. So this is by the company Strictly Limited.
Yeah.
These guys love to do like collector's editions of like any games that they usually have in stock. And one of which is this like unreleased arcade game made by the creators of the Wonder Boy games.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so they have an art book that goes into detail about like the start of the production of the game, when they did like public testing back in the 90s, why they canceled it initially, and then like how they eventually were approached by Strictly Limited to like fund the game and finish it up, and now they were able to release it. It's on like Switch, PS4.
It's very in depth for an art book.
Yeah, they also have like a lot of sketches for the characters and enemies. Some really cool stuff.
Yo, I gotta sleep now. It's been a blast.
Yeah.
All right.
Enjoy the rest of your podcast.
And, thanks for dropping by.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
I sent the image that I'd like you to incorporate.
Okay.
in the thumbnail somehow.
Yeah, will do.
Yeah. Would love it.
And John, if you exit out of your slideshow mode, you'll see some stuff. And that's it.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Have
good
a good
night,
night,
everyone.
All right. Night.
Just quickly before I go, Sakurai made Kirby Air Ride 2. Octopath, please do a collab with Tetris 99. And what's it? I want to say one more thing.
Give me money to buy the free rent plushie.
The money. Yeah. I need $344.
Yep. Link in the description for the PayPal.
So everyone get me $172. The link will be in the description, and I'll send the link now.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you.
See you later, bro.
We'll talk again later.
Easy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And that was our guest. All right. So yeah, we're almost done here, so we won't be here for too long. So I'll quickly go over the other stuff that I got. So the other collector's edition that is also pretty cool is the TMNT Cowabunga collection. It's pretty much goes in the same detail as Clockwork Aquario. It also came with like a little acrylic stand, so that's pretty cool.
Nice.
And then there's some like I don't have the boxes for, but I do have the stuff for it, and that is Con and Reboot. Like some random eBay seller just had the pieces for the collector's edition, and I bought them.
Yeah.
The art book for Con, it is an art book. They do have like interviews with some of the devs and stuff, but it also functions as like a guidebook to play the game. So that's pretty cool.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so... And... Of course, we have the Sonic Origins Plus art book, which is essentially just a bunch of sketches from, like, stuff that's already publicly available, but, you know, it's cool to have anyway. And the Mega Man Wily Wars Collector's Edition This one I also kind of don't really care for. I just wanted the game, but the stuff that it included, like some trading cards, I believe it also included a poster. Those are pretty neat, but yeah, the games is usually what I care for. And if they have if they have the soundtrack and the art book, then I usually consider getting them.
Right.
So let's go on to the next slide.
Okay. Oh.
So this slide is basically books and movies and comics and manga and guidebooks.
All sorts of media.
Yeah, all sorts of media. I am a big Sonic fan, so I've been collecting the IDW Sonic books. As you can see in the corner, I have like a huge stack of them. I can't show them all, but you could see some of them pointing out, and I like have a lot of them.
Yeah.
I recommend reading those if anybody is interested in Sonic comics, especially since it's still pretty early on and you could easily catch up, whereas like stuff from Archie is like decades of material you would have to read. So yeah, I also got the movies too that I decided to display. I enjoyed those a lot. I would have gotten the Mario movie as well, but I didn't buy it because I've seen it in theaters like 3 times.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of burned out by it by now. Yeah, so Jem actually did give me the little Sonic Archie comic book in the corner, as well as the activity book.
the Where's Waldo Sonic.
Yeah, Where's Waldo Sonic edition. And as for the stuff on the top, so one of them is a Puyo Puyo manga. It's not really related to any game in particular. It's just like very slice of life related stuff. I wish I could read it, but I just like to look at the art.
Yeah.
I think the art is like really cute. But one that I can read is the KOF 14 manga. I only have one of them, but is essentially just a somewhat of a prequel to the events of the game, sort of. And as for the other books, I have a Lunar Silver Star story guidebook, even though I don't have the game. Even then, I think this is the PS1 version, not the Sega CD version.
Bro, that's dope.
And then I also have a Japanese guidebook for Magic Knight Raiders.
Nice.
That one I got after I bought the game, because, like, you know, maybe if I do play it, maybe this will help me how to get through stuff, even though this game's, like, in English, but the English version is very expensive. My favorite book is actually this Japanese Mega Drive guidebook. It goes over the history of the Mega Drive and goes in depth in like the games, add-ons, and like different console variants.
That's pretty cool.
It also has like interviews with like different Sega devs as well as like small indie devs.
Yeah.
And they have like a little manga section that's pretty cool, and it's essentially just like telling you like, oh, this console's like really cool, people should play it more. And on the next slide I actually have some pictures from inside the book.
Ah.
Yeah. As you can see, there's like they go over like different consoles. Like there was a Mega Drive that was like had a radio built into it, so you can listen to music. And then there's like two pages talking about like different games that came out in different years. We have one page that's talking about like an indie game by Yusuke Shiro. He's making a shmup for the Genesis.
Oh yeah,
I'm looking.
Eartheon.
Yeah, I think that's what it was called, Eartheon. And then like these 2 pages at the bottom is just like different little short mangas by like different artists. Basically, some of them is just like they're telling you like some like guides on how to play like games. Like one of them is like, I think this one action platformer, and then like there's another manga just telling you like why the Mega Drive is cool. Like, oh, it has like these games and these graphics and little fun facts. These are all in Japanese, but I use Google Translate to read some of them, so I have a basic idea on what they're about. And I like this book a lot, and I want to collect more books like these because it's interesting to see what people thought about like old consoles back in the day. And it's also cool to know that there's still a following for them even after all these years.
Do you know how many volumes there are of this book?
I don't know.
What
I know that they have
one.
I don't think this has a volume number. I think this is it just has like the year, like I think 2020. Yeah, I think this is like winter 2024 edition. So, but I do know that they had one for like the Super Nintendo and I believe one for the PS1.
Yeah.
So they definitely made more books like this.
That's cool.
Yeah, and next page is not next page, next slide. Now this slide right here. This is the stuff that I forgot to take pictures of, or stuff that I didn't have anywhere else to put. Like I have a few Game Gear games, Rice Star and Dynamite Heady. I have this bootleg Game Boy multi-cart that Jem gave me. This thing barely works, and the button on the cartridge like sometimes doesn't work. But when it does, it's amazing. I mean, there's not really any good games in particular, but it's something.
Yeah, I don't know like how we got this. We've just always had this like in our old like Game Boy collection. Because so what that button is like it switches the games in that list there. So there's like 8 games in this one cartridge. And so you put the cartridge in and you turn it on, it'll load up like the first game. But then when you push the button, it'll reset the Game Boy and then load the next game. Or that's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
So there are actually some like really fun games on there, like Battle City, I think it's called, or like Load Runner. There's a sick game called Volley Fire that I played a lot on there. There's like a Mahjong game on there.
Yeah. I mean, there's some like fun little games in there, but like, yeah, the main issue is that like this thing sometimes doesn't work.
Yeah.
So just like, yeah, it's weird too because it has like a built-in button on it. I don't even know how it works.
Right.
It just somehow switches the games. And then, like, next to it, I have a copy of Sonic Pocket Adventure for the Neo Geo Pocket. And then at the bottom is a clean box copy of the Trip World released by Limited Run. And then the picture next to it is stuff that I forgot, like more Sonic comics, a Mega Man comic, a Nintendo Power magazine, and it has Felix the Cat on it.
A perfect issue.
I have like the Team Fortress 2 OST. I forgot to take a picture of Byleth from my Amiibo slide. And there you see my box copy of Corpse Party.
Nice.
I hate to break it to everyone, but I actually did throw away the box that came in with that collector's edition. It also came with like the soundtrack and like 2 figurines. The figurines and soundtrack I have, they're just back at home.
Yeah.
But yeah, I found the case-in manual, and by then it was too late to like retake the picture. So I'm just like, I'll just lump it in with like everything else.
Yeah, that's fine.
So yeah, that's my miscellaneous stuff. So, what do you got, Jim?
All right, so this is my Wild Arms game collection. So this is almost every game in the series, plus the anime on DVD. Wild Arms TV, it's called. Yeah, the Wild Arms series are like my favorite. It's like my favorite JRPG series. So Wild Arms 3 is actually the very first JRPG that I've ever like played. And it wasn't this particular copy. It wasn't even the full game. I played the demo on one of those like jam pack demo discs that the PS2 had a bunch of. So that's how I originally played Wild Arms 3. And then years later, so in high school when I started collecting. So the reason I started collecting is because I found this game at a retro game store and it was $5. And the moment I saw this cover, just the nostalgia and like the memories of playing the Wild Arms 3 demo just instantly flooded back into my mind. And so yeah, I bought this copy at that game store for $5 right on the spot. And that pretty much is what like kicked off my like game collection basically. And then I eventually got the rest of the series. What was that?
Oh, I said nice.
Oh. And yeah, I eventually got the rest of the series. Now when I got these, they weren't too expensive. Like Wild Arms 1 and 2 were maybe like $50 each. Wild Arms 5, so both of these together, this is the 10th anniversary edition. I think this was like $80. Same with Wild Arms Alter Code F, that one was also $80. Nowadays, Wild Arms 5 and like Alter Code F are like $400 each. So yeah. And then Wild Arms 4, yeah, right. And then Wild Arms 4, I got like at a flea market for like $20. Yeah,
nice.
I love these games. My favorite RPG series. I love the music, and so the main defining like key element of these games is that they're fantasy mixed with like Western, like cowboys, Western. So the characters use guns. It's always set in like a desert wasteland, that whole thing. And the music is very Westerny as well. And it's great. I love this series. I'm really excited for Armed Fantasia. So basically, it's an indie game, very much in the same vein as Wild Arms, and it's developed by some of the original creators. So I'm super hyped for that game to come out sometime like next year. I don't know when. Well, yeah. And my next slide here, this is my Atelier game collection. So again, this is almost every game in the series that's at least released in North America. So just the ones that have been translated. I say almost every game in this series because I'm actually missing 2 of them. So the 2 games that come after the Atelier Iris series on PS2. So there are actually 2 more PS2 games that come after those. I specifically skipped those though. Because they're called... So the games are called Manachemia. So it's Manachemia 1 and 2. Now, I actually purposely skipped them because they don't follow the same naming convention of the other Atelier games.
Oh.
And they're kind of expensive now. So it's like, you know what? I'm going to skip them because they don't match the same naming scheme and they're kind of expensive. So in my mind, I have the complete... North American Atelier series. I'm basically mad coping. Yeah, it's fine though. And I also have Nelke and the Legendary Alchemists. It's not part of the main series. It's actually a spin-off. It's basically the Avengers of the Atelier series. So it's like all the characters from the previous games come together in this one. It's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I actually haven't played a lot of these. So the only ones I've actually played are Atelier Rorona Plus for the PS3. That's this one over here. And Atelier Lydie and Suelle. That was actually the first Atelier game that I got. So that's this one over here. And Atelier Marie Remake. So I've only played these 3. So I have a lot of them to play still. Yeah. I really like the Atelier games. They're very different from other JRPGs. They're very chill, very slice of life, very slow. So if you're used to like, battles and like saving the world, stuff like that, that's not what these games are. They're very chill. Sometimes I fall asleep while playing them because that's how slow they move. So like I can't sit down to play these games like I do other games. Like when I play a game, I'll only play that game until I finish it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for these ones, they're so slow that like I can only play them like maybe an hour at a time at most, and I have to play something else. Otherwise, I just like fall asleep. So yeah, I get through these very slowly, but really cool games though. All right. Next one. Wait, didn't we already go through your Genesis games?
We did, but there's a twist. I lied. This is my final slide. This is my final Genesis game. This is the final game that I'm gonna show off.
Okay.
I literally got this game on Wednesday.
Oh, true. Nice.
Like this was long after we got done organizing, and then this popped in the mail, and I'm just like, all right, let's just make this the last slide. I want to show it off.
Yeah, why not?
And I'm just like, there is no way I'm gonna get any other games to arrive before the podcast. And lo and behold, Jem decided to give me Paper Mario 1,000-Year Door for the Switch. That came yesterday, and then earlier today, my copy of River City Girls Zero for Switch also arrived.
True.
So I can't. So it's too late to show them off here, but I have those games, and as of this recording, those are the last two games that I've recently acquired. So nice. Instead, let's talk about FX Yuki very quickly. So this is a Genesis port of the PC Engine homebrew of the same name. This port in particular is actually one of the rarest and most expensive aftermarket Genesis games out there.
Oh, shoot.
Like I've seen like there's very few listings on eBay of it, and like the listings that are available, it's like either $500 or close to like $800.
Holy.
The game itself is like okay, like
yeah,
it's a pretty like average like platformer, but there's like a lot of love and passion put into this game. So, and I actually did enjoy playing this game. I played the PC Engine CD version that was on Switch. That's the first version I played. So if anybody wants to play this game, it's on Switch. This Genesis version, however, is only it's only physical only. So that's another reason why this is kind of rare.
True.
You're really not missing much. Like both of these are the same game.
Yeah.
I think the Genesis port is kind of like the colors are pretty washed out. The music here is actually pretty good with the Genesis FM synth. But other than that, like, yeah, it's a decent port. It's rare. It's really rare and expensive. And as at the time of this recording, the developer is actually doing another pre-orders for this port, and I actually want to get the collector's edition of this, even though I already have it.
Do it.
It has like the soundtrack. It has like some stickers.
Do it for the soundtrack.
Yeah, do it for the soundtrack, and also the cartridge is like pink.
Do it for the pink cartridge.
Yeah, the cartridge is pink, while the regular copies are like transparent gray, which is it's fine. I mean, it looks cool, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna do it for the soundtrack and that pink cartridge.
Yes.
Hopefully, by the time I have some money saved up, I'm able to get it, and pre-orders don't close. But yeah, and right here, there's some screenshots of the game, the cartridge, the manual. This thing has like a really thick PCB, just like the cotton bootleg.
Yeah.
So I basically just used the Game Genie to like play this, and it runs perfectly. I just don't want to put the base cartridge in my my Genesis because I don't want it to damage it. So at the very least, at least damage the Game Genie.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely would like to collect more homebrewed Genesis games because there are a lot out there, and I definitely would like to get some of them.
Yeah, totally.
And yeah, one of the last notes I wrote here is, I hope to God nothing else arrives by the time this podcast starts. Yeah. I wish to.
What if one arrives like as we're recording?
Damn, could you imagine? Oh man. And that's it.
And yeah,
we're done.
That's a wrap. Hey, that's pretty much our entire collections. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed walking through our collections. I know we love talking about our games. We love playing games, of course. One last question to ask before we end this podcast, though. What are the next games that you want to get, like immediately next?
So I want to get. Okay, so one of my game stores actually has a copy of Bonk 2 for the PC Engine.
Oh.
So I think that will be my next purchase. I got a discount for it too, so I'll probably get it for like even cheaper.
Nice.
So that is definitely going to be the next game I want to get. As for like other games, well, one of which is the FX Unit Yuki Collector's Edition, hopefully.
Yep.
I also would like to get a copy of Cotton 2 for the Sega Saturn. I also want to get Sailor Moon, the beat 'em up game by Arc System Works for the Mega Drive.
Nice.
And I want to get a Japanese copy of Knuckles Chaotix for the 32X.
Sick. Good choices.
The yen is pretty down bad right now, so I'm taking this opportunity to buy as many games as I can.
Right. Yeah, for me.
What about you?
Yeah, for me, I actually have. I'm waiting for 2 games to arrive in the mail. Actually, I ordered them like earlier this week, so I'm waiting for Cooking Mama 2: Dinner with Friends on DS, and WarioWare Touched on DS. So right now I'm working on my DS games, and the next game I want to get, like literally my next purchase, I want to get Rhythm Heaven Megamix, the Japanese version for 3DS. And there's a bunch of other ones that I'm considering, but for sure I want to get that one. So yeah.
Solid picks.
Yeah.
Especially Rhythm Heaven Remix. I believe that one was a digital only game in the US.
Yeah.
I don't think it got a physical release.
I used to have the Rhythm Heaven on like the original DS, like way back when. But yeah, I figured Megamix is just as good. See those remade classics. So yeah. Yeah. So that pretty much wraps up our first episode of Sparkster Gaming Podcast. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I don't know how many of you watched till the very end. Yeah.
If you have watched to the very end, let us know what you thought. Any games that you like, tell us your stories, or literally just say hi.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, what kind of games do you guys like to play? Do you guys like to collect games? Any games that you guys really like from our collections? Any games that you absolutely hate from our collections? Like, why does this guy have this one? That one is trash. Literally anything. Yeah. So yeah, any last words, John, before we end the podcast for real?
Sparkster Gaming.
Sparkster Gaming. That's all that needs to be said. All right. Have a good one, guys. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Peace.
Layers.